And how about this for commitment? We've just been informed that a 14-year-old scout, Matthew Thompson, he worked in the main tower of the grandstand on Saturday. Then on Saturday night he caught the Sea Cat to Liverpool. He arrived at the hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning, then competed at Wavertree in the National Young Athletes League all day, Sunday the 4th of June. He won all his under-15 age events, javelin, discus and shot. Caught the Sea Cat back last night to be at the grandstand for duty this morning. Well, that's commitment for you, isn't it? The young lad there, 14-year-old scout, Matthew Thompson. What a weekend he's had in the grandstand tower on Saturday, winning the prizes across there, back here again, and keen to do the work all over again today. Let's join Jeff.
John McGuinness is here, and John, what a morning you've spent, no doubt, every emotion known to man.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Same for everybody. It's a little bit frustrating, really. I'd like to get the race underway, but, you know, if the conditions aren't right, the conditions aren't right. You know, I think they've made the right decision there, send the boys out, because them guys are a bit more experienced. They might be able to give us a bit of a weather report as well, you know, the Granty and the boys. So, no, hopefully another half an hour to an hour, it might be fine.
Well, I think you're going a quarter past, and it's 5-2 now.
Well, I better go to the toilet for the 10th time and get my suit on, get geared up.
Bringing in more income then at a penny a time.
Yeah, well.
All right, think you can win it again?
I've got to say that, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Jeff, just been informed now, 1:30 at the earliest. 1:30 at the earliest now for the lightweight race.
Yeah, just in time to give John a shout there, and he's Richard Britton and Darren Lindsay. It's 1:30 now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know what time. I think we'll just go when we're ready, eh? But it is getting better.
Well, as long as it's getting better, I think it's a better job. You know, if we can leave it as late as possible, it'll be a better job, yeah.
It's hard to get pumped up 3 or 4 times and then let yourself down again.
It is, yeah. It's hard on the nerves, I can tell you.
When you want to go, then you've got to muster your enthusiasm up. But I think when you get on the grid, you come back up again.
Once we get out there, you know, you'll be all right. But hopefully it'll be dry, you know, when we get out there, because when it is damp, it's dodgy enough around here, yeah.
Okay, what's the prospects then?
Well, we'll try and go for it anyway. But if I can get on the podium again, I'll be happy. But I would certainly like the win, yeah.
Okay, looking back to the Northwest, of course, that was a tremendous win you had there in front of the crowd.
Yeah, it was very good, yeah.
Right.
Jeff, can I just interrupt for a moment? Would Colin Moore please attend the press office? Colin Moore, please, to the press office.
I
Jeff?
think we made a muck of that, didn't I?
Yes, you did, yes. It's the same ladders, Jeff, but a different head hanging into these ones.
You were in the commentary box.
That's right, yeah, doing your job.
Okay, in practice it was mixed conditions. Did you get the good laps in before the weather changed?
Aye, we got about 7 laps in altogether. The 400, I took it out on Wednesday night on the wet one, because I haven't really had a lot of wet experience around here, so I went out on the Wednesday night. So it was slippy, but it's certainly not going to be as wet as that now, but it's gives you an idea.
103.65 though, not bad.
It was okay. I was getting held up a lot in the second lap with some of the newcomers, so confident to go a bit quicker than that, but we'll see how it goes.
So what have you done to occupy yourself to keep out of trouble? I mean, it's just been, what, 4 hours nearly?
I know. It hasn't been too bad going, and, you know, plenty of people to chat to, and just sitting about and getting plenty of water in and whatever, you know. So, well, it'll not be too much longer now, but it's 1:30, so...
Half an hour?
Yeah, well.
Okay, well, forgive me for that confusion, but I do hope you get a good run.
Thanks, Jeff. Cheers.
I was dreaming. I've done that once before. It was Jeff McMullen and not Richard Britton. The leathers caught me out there. Peter?
Yes, thanks, Jeff. We'll be back with you in a moment, but now to hand off the latest information, firstly, Mavis.
Alors, les francophones, encore un délai. La course va commencer à 13h30. Je répète, départ de la course, 13h30. Je passe le Mikro à Peter.
Danke, Mavis. Heute ist wirklich Sitzfleisch gefragt, denn der Start ist um weitere 15 Minuten verschoben worden. Also jetzt 13:30 Uhr, voraussichtlich der Start der Lightweight TT, 13:30 Uhr. Peter Neal, bitte.
Thanks. I know, Jeff, any more interviewees down there? We'll hand back to him, but I do need to get the non-starters out sometimes, so Jeff, leave it to you.
Yeah, we've got some more details on the bike that Richard Britton will be riding. It's sponsored by Sandown Racing of Lisbon and owned by Sandy McCutcheon, a 1994 bike, in fact, which doesn't sound as if it should be competitive, but I'm sure will be. He's the boys who've got it here. Who are you boys now?
Well, I actually own this bike, which Richard Britton is riding.
So you're Sandy then?
I'm Sandy of Sandown Racing, yeah. So, I mean, he's got round quite well on it. He's only did 2 laps of practice, but he's round. He's 12th quickest or something in practice, I think, so it's not too bad, you know.
So is it got modern, you know, the latest bits on it? Is it just
Well, I mean, it has been, we've kept it souped up this last few years, keep it up to date as best we can, and it finished 8th in the Northwest 200 or around that. So it is quite competitive, but it's never going to be a match for the young man. It's 7 years old, Jeff, so you can't expect a whole lot, you know. But we've got a good rider on it, so it'll do well.
Well, despite the fact that I confused him with Jeff McMullen there, Richard did have a good Northwest, didn't he, with that outright victory of the production race, I think, wasn't it?
That's right. Richard had a brilliant Northwest, and unfortunately he hasn't got enough of practice here maybe this week, you know, as much as he would like, but I still think that he'll not be far away in most of the races that he rides in, given the weather conditions to suit him. I think he'll do all right.
Are you going to go with slick tyres?
Well, we're trying to make a decision here at the moment. We're deliberating, you know. We have a front intermediate in, and I think we're going to go maybe for a rear slick, depending if the weather doesn't change anymore. I think we'll stick with that, so let's hope that's the way it is.
Okay, but introduce this gentleman. He's no doubt spent about 20 hours a day working on it.
No, that gentleman really is just part of the Schimmel racing team, and he is more interested, I think, in the 4 strokes than he is in the 2 strokes. I look after this 250 myself. The rest of the boys look after the big bike, so that's really the way it is. I do a lot of the work around this myself. So.
Okay, so you are?
Mark.
Okay, and you're on the ZXR, right? I mean, looking after that side of it.
For Richard on the bigger bikes.
Do you prefer the 4 strokes?
I like all the bikes, but you know, the interest at this meeting is obviously in the bigger bikes.
Okay, well, it's a smartly turned out team anyway, and I do hope you get some success out of it if we ever do get started.
Oh, well, I hope so. They've just put it back another 15 minutes, so we'll have to see.
Okay, I think 1:30 is the latest call over on that. And at the top end, people are, I think it's fair to say, actually, they don't quite know what's going on, and neither do we, as we just proved, but I do think we are waiting for better conditions on the top, and that brings us to Richard Quayle, who, with Phil Neen, is trying to fill the time in here, as he's been doing since 9 o'clock odd this morning. He could have done half a day's work.
Hi Jeff, I don't know about that so much.
Well, you've got to do a half day every now and then.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's getting better all the time. 4 laps still, and how do you think the prospects will go for you?
I don't know, Jeff, just have a nice run round and just enjoy it, really. That's the name of the game. With it being my first TT, I just want to have a nice run round and enjoy it. So.
Well, first TT in the main classes, but you were in the TT last year.
Yeah, I did the production race last year, which is really, really good. You know, it's just a nice little thing to do, really. I think a lot of Manx Grand Prix riders should do it, because it really stands you in good stead. As soon as you come to the Grand Prix, you're switched on and away you go.
Yeah, it's a crafty way of doing it, that, isn't it, to preserve your option. It certainly worked for you.
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. Like I say, like last Manx Grand Prix, I just jumped back on the bike and it was as though I hadn't been away from the course, you know, the first night. I thought, yep, that'll do for me. Rather than it being 12 months, it's only 3 months, you see, so it's really good.
But it was a big engine you had in the production rather than the 250s and the 600s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tend to go all right on any bike, really. I can just jump on any bike and go, so I'm quite lucky that way. So.
Some chap called Dunlop is the next rider away after you. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, have I? Yeah, I'm pooing my pants a bit, actually, Jeff.
Do you think he will catch you early then? Surely not.
Well, I don't know. He's bound to, isn't he? I mean, he's a top man. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for Joey. He's my hero, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. So.
You have the rope on the back, and as he goes by, you just hook it up on his rail and away you go.
Well, that's the plan. I'm just going to try and hang on to him for as long as I can, really, when he comes past me. Same with John, same with Ian. So I'll just try and hang on to them for as long as I can. That's the plan.
Think positive, Chairman.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'll be trying my best, but...
Okay, Phil, you've got the 400 class?
That's right, yeah, 400 Honda.
You did all right in the Formula 1, though?
Yeah, it was all right. I had a small problem with the front wheel. The tyre wall's a bit soft and it's reacting with the suspension. But we'll try a different tyre on Friday in the senior.
Okay, you'll be all right for getting an entry for that, will you?
Yeah, I found out this morning I got in, so...
Yeah. So today, treaded tyres on that, yeah?
Yes, Dunlop 207s back in front.
Yeah, I know all about them. What are they? They're black and they're... What, a fairly soft compound or hard or what?
Well, yeah, they're basically a track tyre, but they seem to suit the 400 brilliantly.
Might be the odd damp patch still.
Well, these tyres are brilliant and they're wet.
Up from the hairpin, Fred Clark saying it's still damp.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Okay, won't be, 25 minutes. Been hanging around all the day, everybody has, but it is getting better. It's certainly getting warmer. And we've got a variety of machinery here, including, I think, four Vimto Hondas, haven't we?
Hiya.
How did you manage to acquire one of these now, Kate?
Just through talent, no.
Is it a hire job or what?
No, Paul's given me it for 2 weeks. It's been brilliant, excellent. Can't say any more, really. Whole
Must be
team's
wonderful to be
brilliant.
part of it.
Oh yeah, really good team. Really been excellent. I can't thank them enough, really.
Had you ridden for them before here at any other meetings?
No, I've just done a track day on the bike, that's all, before here.
And how much better was it than anything else?
Oh, a lot better. We just had a few problems with the handling, but that's just a common thing around here, isn't it? And we've put another shocker on it now, and hopefully it'll be better today. We haven't had a chance to try it with the weather being as bad as it has, but everything else, brilliant, great bike.
That's the big rear shocker. What's softer, or?
Yeah, we needed to soften it off. It was too hard, so.
They all say that really when you come to the TT, the suspension settings have to allow for all the bumps, but they're still there, but they're not quite as bad at Sulby as once they were.
No, they're definitely not as bad there. I mean, the 250s aren't the best things over the bumps anyway, because they're so light, but I think it'll be better today.
Can you get round that left-hander onto Sulby straight flat out?
Yeah, I'm not too bad there.
You're into top by then?
Yeah.
So head down and those at the Sulby Glen see you go by in a blur.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm sure you're just as jittery as everybody else is here, and it's been made worse by the morning's delay.
Yeah, I'm very nervous actually, because just through not having much practice, it's kind of a bit nerve-wracking. I don't know what the circuit's like, so.
Have you got an entry for the senior?
No, I'm just in the lightweight. That's it.
But you can go forward to the senior if you're in the fastest 75 or whatever.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. We haven't talked about.
Get this out of the way first. Okay, thanks, Kate Parkinson there, and the other riders, of course, are Paul Williams, Richard Quayle, and of course John McGuinness. Peter.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's take care then of these non-starters and changes to programme for the lightweight 250 TT. Firstly, the non-starters posted are as follows. If you have your programs ready, we'll go through them fairly leisurely for you. I think everybody on the grandstand I can see has the program ready. So we have non-starters for the lightweight 250. 8, 13, 26, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 36, 39, 41, 42 and 43. 43 was to be Jim Moody, who was an addition to the programme, but as we heard is a non-starter. The change of machines, number 14 rides a Honda 250. 14 a Honda 250. Number 16 is a Yamaha 250. 16 a Yamaha 250. And number 31 is a Suzuki 250. 31 a Suzuki 250. Onto the lightweight 400 class, the non-starters, 53, 61, 69, 71, 72, 80, 81, 82 and 83. The change of machine, number 61, a Yamaha FZR 400. 61, a Yamaha FZR 400. I know he's a non-starter, but people like to keep a record of all the alterations. Number 66 is a Kawasaki 400. 66 Kawasaki 400. 75 a Honda 400. 75 a Honda 400. And 86 and 87 are both on Yamaha FZR 400s. 86 and 87 Yamaha FZR 400s. And now for details of changes to program in German, here's Peter.
Danke, Peter. Ich gebe noch kurz die Non-Starter bekannt, also die Startnummern, die nicht am Start sind. Zuerst die 250er, die Lightweight TT 250. Non-Starter sind Startnummer 8, 13, 26, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 36, 39, 41 und 42. Das waren die Non-Starter der 250er Lightweight TT und bei den 400ern nicht am Start. Die Startnummern 53, 61, 69, 71, 72, 75, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. Das waren die Non-Starter. Ich gebe wieder zurück an Peter Neal.
Well, thank you, Peter. So we're waiting now. Countdown is what? 20 minutes to the start? The delayed start of the lightweight TT, 250cc and 400cc races combined. The 250s, in actual fact, used to, the lightweight was included 350s some years ago, so the results in the program are a little bit difficult to follow. Junior 250, junior 350, and then lightweight 250. But even when they had the 350s in, the 250s were certainly winning all the races. It's a long, long time since a 350cc machine won either a junior or a lightweight TT. Morris, the conditions out there, I believe you've had a little bit of drizzle. What's it like now?
Yes, Peter, about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour ago there was a hint of drizzle in the air, but I have to say since then it's improved considerably. The roads are fairly dry around this particular part, and just looking back towards I suppose Ballacrana, it's certainly a lot lighter than it was before. In fact, I did say to somebody here, it's lightning, and they went out to dash to see where the thunder was coming from, so that was a bit stupid of me, but nonetheless, it's certainly brighter than it has been, I think, throughout the morning period, so hopefully we're going to be okay. So we're all in position here. I'm pleased to say the Swiss Chalet have brought us superb refreshments, and I know poor old Fred doesn't get those up at Ramsey, so I just throw that in for him. But nonetheless, I think we could be good here, as long as, of course, it's clear up on that all-important section up the mountain. So prospects certainly at Glen Helen looking considerably improved. Okay, Peter, back to you.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's take a look at the local interest in this lightweight race. The local riders lining up are number 2, Richard Quayle, on the Bullock Vimto Honda from Douglas here in the Isle of Man. At number 10, Jason Griffiths, formerly from South Wales, now resident in Ramsey in the Isle of Man. Barry Wood from Douglas on a Yamaha TZ250. Barry was the winner of the Lightweight Classic Manx Grand Prix last year. In fact, in the Lightweight Classic Manxes, I don't think he's ever been outside the top 3, and eventually it came good for him last year. Those are the local entries in the 250 class. In the 400 class, we have number 56, David Madsen Migdal on the NC30. He comes from Douglas. Number 68, David Thurlow from German in the Isle of Man. Phil Neen, as we heard. He's riding at number 70, comes from Braddon. Number 77, Kevin Aggo Murphy, now lives in Douglas. Number 84, Philip Gilmore, also from Douglas. Those are the local riders, and we have 2 ladies in this, one in each class. Number 20, Kate Parkinson, who we heard there on the Demon Vimto Honda from Lancaster. She rides at number 20 in the lightweight 250 class. And in the lightweight 400 class, as we mentioned, Sandra Barnett from Edesham on the Honda VFR 400. Sandra, the fastest lady ever around the course. Well, it's coming up now to, 17 minutes to the start. Any sign of activity down there, Jeff?
Well, it's funny, really. I think it's because of the delay, Peter. People just are standing around not really believing it's going to happen. I think that's a snag when you put it off 3 or 4 times to different times of the day. People sort of want confirmation before they really begin to wind themselves up. I think to a certain degree you'd say the same thing about ourselves on the radio team. You sit there for hours and then suddenly you think, well, should we sort of get our adrenaline into going? Because sometimes, even at the last minutes, it can be called back off again. Here's John Barton now. Now, he's one of those who's had a really tough week here. Perhaps his best chance comes in the singles rather than now, but let's ask the man. It's been a bit of a carry-on, really, hanging around.
Oh, it's horrible when it's like this, Jeff. You're just never sure what you're doing and what you're up to. You get all psyched up for a start and then it delayed, and yeah, it's just horrible.
What about the Yamaha? You were in trouble with it before. Is it all right?
Yeah, we've been up to Derby and tested it out, and everything seems to be working okay with it now. So hopefully it should be all right.
Is it competitive?
I believe so. We've been told, that it's got good power, but really until you're out there with the other guys, you just don't know.
You didn't do many laps on it in practice?
No, unfortunately we only managed to get a couple of laps in, so it wasn't really enough to get ourselves dialed in. But hopefully we'll set off in the race and just see how it goes.
Are you allowed slick tyres?
No, I think it's got to be intermediates. Well, I've gone with intermediates anyway because of the reported damp patches.
Well, I thought you weren't allowed them, but I see one bike's got them.
Yeah, I'm not so sure on the ruling of it actually. I always thought you had to have treaded tyres, but as I say, that's what we're going with today anyway.
Jeff.
All right. Okay, Fred?
Yes, just clearing that point up, Jeff, that it used to be Super Sport 400 category where treaded tyres were mandatory, but it is now an open 400 class, hence slick tyres are permitted if the riders so desire. So they can use slick tyres. Okay, Jeff?
Yeah, okay, just walking down the line of them, I did only see the one machine with that option having been exercised, and in fact I can't spot it now because some of the bikes are already out on the grid. No, I see, there we are, it's number 22. No, that's a 250 anyway, that's got in with the 400s. I think that's what's kidded me actually. He's got his bike in the wrong paddock.
But they are actually able to use slick tyres if they so desire. A little bit like it used to be with the 600s and the 400s, both Super Sport. The 600s will not be using slick tyres. They must use treaded tyres. But I think as of last year, the class became a 400 open class, not Super Sport 400. Hence, I think last year slick tyres were used with the 400s.
Okay, well, everybody's so anxious that they're out on the grid already. Normally they wouldn't go anywhere near it until about 5 minutes before, but that's the frustration that's built up. So we have 1, 2, 4 and 20, the numbers of the Vimto team here. And Paul Williams, not much been said about him, Fred. He's a good goer though. Oh, wait a minute, here's Ian Locker coming up, so let's just grab him before we go into that. All set, Ian, at last?
Sorry?
All set at last?
Yeah, just same as everybody, I think. Jeff is just waiting around, you know, and I think I'm ready for it, yeah.
All right, think you can do it?
Hope so.
Yeah, bike's quick enough. Anyway, he had a good ride in the Formula 1. It cheered Hector up no end.
Yeah, no, we had a great ride, yeah, it's really good.
Okay, thanks very much for those thoughts then. Ian Locker and Fred, we were saying something.
Yeah, Paul Williams.
Yeah,
Paul
about
Williams.
the New Zealand man.
Yes, the last couple of years, of course, he ran in the 400 class and came up with maximum effect. He won it in 98, he won it in 99. His machine will be used again today, incidentally. I'm just trying to think who the rider is that's going to use it. I think that it is Craig Shirris that's using the machine that won the last two 400 events. But this will be his first TT on an open class 250.
Bruce Anstey's going well, Fred, as well.
Yes, he is. Well, Bruce Anstey continues to improve. Smiler Anstey, I've yet to come across the guy without a smile on his face. 7th in the 250 of last year, comes from Wellington in New Zealand. He's a good all-rounder, this guy. He's cutting it on the short circuits, doing the British 250 Championship. Not particularly well placed, but he's a former New Zealand road champion with the Harley-Davidson 883s. A good quality act, and he's got a good machine beneath him, the Dennis Trollope Racing Yamaha.
Well, the bikes for the first portion of the race are out on the grid, but there's still about 12 minutes to go now, and as I remarked just a moment ago, normally you can't drag them out of the paddock for love nor money. Darren Lindsay there is also sponsored to a degree by Road Racing Ireland, which we mentioned with the Schimmel team before. And Wallace Rollins and Leslie Moore and the gang are here to keep an eye on them. And it's number 11 for Darren, 9th fastest in practice.
If you get a chance, Jeff, have a word with number 12, Ronnie Smith. This will be his first ever race on a 250 two-stroke.
Okay, I don't see him on the grid as yet. First out is number 6, that's Gary Dines, who was 7th fastest in practice, if that's any guide. 15, Bruce Anstey's Trollope Yamaha here. 4th fastest in practice at 115.20. Lots of the bikes being held by the mechanics rather than the riders. Darren, you're okay? All set now, at last?
Yeah, we're finally getting away, Jeff. About time.
You know, 10 minutes yet.
Yeah.
So how have you gone in practice then?
We didn't get that many laps on the 250, you know, just with weather and different things, you know, but we're just going to use it as a practice for Wednesday, really, today, you know.
I noticed that you've gone for treaded tyres, though, or certainly hand-cut slicks.
Well, I think it's still damp, you know, in below the trees in certain sections, so we just opted for the cut slick, you know, instead of the full slick.
You think you're better chances Wednesday, do you?
Well, have to wait and see. It's a long way around.
Thanks. He's the new father, Paul Owen. How's the baby getting on?
Yeah, he's okay now. He's improved 100%. So, like, as soon as after the race, we have to phone up and like let him know how we got on. But like, everything's looking good. So
he's tuned into Manx Radio already, is he?
Yeah, he's got little earplugs.
Okay. 24. Hugh Reynolds. We haven't spoken much to him. He's a quiet man from the New Zealand team that came over originally with the Modes Trophy lot with Bill Smith a few years ago. And 28 is out early. David Hedison. Not much between these bikes though, Fred.
In terms of capabilities, the bike that I would put my money on, I suspect, would be John McGuinness's. That should have the A kit, the factory A kit on board, but don't discount himself, Joey Dunlop, that Bertie Payne Honda, that surely is going to be in on the act. Plus, of course, remember, Jeff, we were talking about yesterday's conditions, damp under the trees, possibility of mist on the mountain. It's going to be Joey Dunlop conditions all over again.
Looking south from here, actually, it's gone considerably poorer in the last 10 minutes, and I wouldn't discount a shower. Out to the north, it's not too bad, but up on the hills, pardon? It certainly doesn't look settled, does it?
The sun's actually out here at the moment, just trying to break through here at Ramsey Hairpin. The sun is just trying to break through, but again, I would remind those riders that just on the breaking point coming up to the hairpin, where they'll be hammering on through Stella Maris, and I assume that is dry in the open spaces of Stella. They'll be going through there perhaps 120 miles an hour, then they come onto the damp stuff, and that's when they've got to anchor up just down to about 15-20 mile an hour for the hairpin, and away then up on the road up toward the waterworks. Again, it is damp under the trees.
Well, that disproves one theory anyway, that the sun only shines on the righteous.
I think you're right on that one, yes. We were interested to hear that Morris down there had a little sprinkling, he said a little sprinkling of shower, and the only thing we had was a little drip, and that's the man sat alongside me. No disrespect there, Patrick, no disrespect. He does a wonderful job, the timekeeper alongside me, Patrick O'Hanlon. He's the man that shuffles these times. We just keep talking, do the easy bit, and it's all down to Patrick to give the times. This, though, Jeff, is going to be the difficult one around the course for the timekeepers. We've got the 2-in-1. It'll get a wee bit confusing for you listeners out there, you Manx Radio listeners out there, wherever you be around the circuit, or indeed further afield, because we will be chunting from one position to the other. We've got two races within the one race, the 250 and the 400, so it can get difficult at times, Jeff.
I don't want to worry you, but we'll bring you over for the newcomers Manx sometime, where there's 3 classes and nobody's ever heard of anybody in it. Anyway, there's an official board here. Mist on mountain, damp patches all round course. Charming. That's the official verdict. So first lap again. It could be Joey, you know, because that's what happened on Saturday. He just went at the normal rate, the rest waited up. We'll never know whether it would have been DJ or JD. Certainly it was a great battle when they came into the pits, absolutely neck and neck, although the timekeepers gave it by half a second to David Jeffries. I had the watch stopped exactly a dead heat at the end of the 4th lap. But it was JD, Joey Dunlop, who triumphed over DJ, whose clutch went on the V&M Yamaha. What about Jason Griffith's prospect, Fred? He seems up for it.
Very much so. Jason impressed. Remember, Jason was second in the 250 TT of last year. He is a very, very good man on this 250. It's a 1997/98 machine. It's not the latest. You were talking to one of the earlier boys, Richard Britton. They've got a 94. This ain't the most modern, but it's prepared by Dennis Trollope, and that is capable of winning. The one dark horse I would throw in, and he's not shown in practice because he's only done those handful of laps, is the Kiwi Sean Harris on Peter Berwick's Honda. He could be the one that may well be creeping in there to surprise the lot.
Okay, Jason is here and seems to be focused pretty hard. I think you regard this as a very good chance for you.
Yeah, it's gone well in practice, Jeff, but obviously the conditions are... It's a bit of a lottery again at the moment as to what's the right way to go with the tyres, so hopefully it won't rain during the race anyway, and we'll just see how it goes.
They're saying some mist on the mountain and damp patches, though. It's a tricky one to call.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be wet under the trees all the way around, really, so it's just going to have to find the way on the first lap and see how we're looking after that.
Going for slicks then?
A treaded front and a slick rear at the minute.
Okay, I think it's a very wise choice, as we would expect of someone like yourself. Thank you. And he's Dennis Trollope as well. You're in this, aren't you? I hear you didn't make it in some respects. What was it, the Formula One, was it?
Yeah, it's 600 single. Unfortunately, because of the weather, I didn't go quite quick enough. I'm hoping that Clark, of course, might change his mind, actually, because I've done over 200 races at the Isle of Man, and I think by now, after 37 years and never failing to qualify due to anything, I think it's a bit disgusting when a man rules you out.
Oh, I'm not getting mixed up in that. I get enough of that all the rest of the year round. But what have you got today?
Oh, I'm on my 250 today. It's just more of a development job for Jason and our other rider, a New Zealand friend.
Bruce Anstey.
Bruce Anstey, yeah.
Okay, well, he's over there. They look fine, as usual, the bikes. How much do you have to pay for them these days to buy one?
You really technically can't buy the ones that I've made because I made a lot of the parts herself.
10 grand at least.
No, more like 30.
Oh, right. Shows you what I know about it. Okay, well, he's a beautiful announcement now. A delayed start, would you believe? Peter, have any more gen on that?
No, still just waiting to hear that officially.
Well, it's on the board being shown to the riders here on the grid. Very nerve-wracking
just been told
indeed.
now 1:45, so that's a further 15 minutes. I've been looking across here while you've been talking, Jeff, and the mist on the hills that we can see is up and down, so it really is a very tricky decision, but officially now it's going to be 1:45.
Gary Dines, that's all you need, another quarter of an hour.
It's getting
Third in the Formula One, practice time for 116.81. And they start singly at 10 seconds. So the two Vimto Hunters will have the chase on from the front there. I should think actually the Quail will be just a bit quicker than Williams, but not by much, as number 4 is brought to here, and that's McGuinness. And for some reason the sticker on the windscreen, I think deliberately, has misspelled his name. Although in fact there are various versions of it. He's Joey's bike coming out now. Where's the great man? And he's John McGuinness moving forward, just fastening his gloves on. And that's his bike that nearly ran him over, being started by the mechanics, walking out with Joey here. This is a good chance. It could be another win, could be the 25th win for Joey. And the 110th for Honda. Is it possible? Well, of course it is. Bertie Payne's Bitmac Honda with the red streamlining on. Joey's gone back to the black and silver leathers for Honda UK. And we just take an advert now with 2 minutes to go to the start of the race.
Important reminders to make watching the TT an enjoyable and safe experience. Stay away from prohibited areas. They've got your safety in mind. Don't have your legs on the racing side of a wall or hedge. Apart from exposing them to greater risk, in an emergency, you won't be able to move away from the danger quickly enough. Before settling in a place to watch the race, think about whether it's safe. Ask yourself what you would do if a bike went out of control. Think about safety. Your own.
Just checking on the tyres here, and cut slicks for number 1 and 2, Williams and Quail. Cut slick front for Joey, but slick back without doubt. Locker, same. Cut front, slick back. And same for McCulloch, same for McGuinness. Not the same though for Dines. Dines slicks front and rear. So they must be nervous about the damp patches, I think. And we're ready to go now with a minute to the start of this 250cc 2000 TT. Peter Neal.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, we can see them down there clearly, and number 1 there in pole position, Paul Williams, going for a hat-trick of victories, but not in the same class. 1998, he won the 400 class of the lightweight race. It was combined then. Last year, he won the 400 lightweight TT. This year, he opts for the 250. Chief timekeeper John Stott in the starting rostrum, and all the waiting is over. And Paul Williams just wants to see John Stott wave that flag for him to get underway to start day 2 of the 2000 TT meeting in the Isle of Man, and that will happen any second from now. Number 1, Paul Williams from New Zealand, looking at the British Union Jack to start the lightweight race. 3 laps, and away we go. It's underway at last. That's Paul Williams. Now it's the Milky Bar kid. Used to come from Colby, now lives in Douglas. So Richard Quayle starting in his very first TT. And now the man who started, I suppose, more races than anybody else, Joey Dunlop, the one and only. Looks determined. Now we look for number 4, John McGuinness, last year's winner, lap and race record holder. tucked under that bubble. Now number 5, Ian Locker, the man who had the titanic battle in the 250 race with Steve Hislop back in the 90s, held the lap record for this race until last year. Number 6 is next, Gary Dines from Marilyn in Northern Ireland on the Honda RS 250. Now Dennis McCulloch is next. Finished 4th last year. He'll want to go at least one better and get on the rostrum. Away safely, number 8, we have the first of the non-starter selects. Will be number 9, that's Richard Britton with the Schimmel Sandown Honda RS from Enniskillen in Northern Ireland. And that 20-second gap with a non-starter certainly seems a long time for him, but he's away safely now. Now the man who topped the practice leaderboard twice or 3 times, a runner-up at the TT, never quite made it. This is Jason Griffiths, number 10, with the DTR Yamaha, now lives in Ramsey, Isle of Man. A tall fellow for a 250, but he crouches round it. He was fastest in practice, as I said. Number 11 is next. This is Darren Lindsay, winner of the Newcomers Ultra Lightweight and the Ultra Lightweight Manx Grand Prix of 1998. Now number 12 gets a signal. Simon Smith with the Manton Group Honda, comes from Harrogate over there in Yorkshire. 13 is a non-starter. There would have been one in this, but Russell Henley unfortunately a non-starter. So next will be number 14, Sean Harris from New Zealand with the Honda 250. Bright yellow fairing on that, there's no doubt. You'll recognise him when he comes into your view. Number 15, Bruce Anstey, another New Zealander, finished in 7th place last year, 3rd in practice on the Dennis Trollope prepared machine. Number 16 will be Neil Richardson. He gets the signal now. Next will be Barry Wood, one of the local competitors. We'll just see if we can get Kate Parkinson away. Number 20, the first of the ladies. Ashley. Number 19 is next. This is Mark Watts. He's waiting for his signal to go. Number 19, Mark Watts. In fact, number 18 was an additional non-starter there. Number 18, Ashley Law did not come to the line. Kate Parkinson about to start another TT race. Kate Parkinson from Lancaster. She gets the signal. We'll take a break.
The Lightweight Race Commentary. Brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
One day you might meet Carl Fogarty. One day you'll find the bike of your dreams. One day you might find that elusive accessory. One day you may find a show that's actually exciting. The new International Scooter and Motorcycle Show, the NEC Birmingham, from the 10th to the 19th November. The ultimate day out.
We know why you do it. Motorcycle news. You can't afford to miss a thing. Out every Wednesday.
There are great job opportunities in the Isle of Man in accounts, banking, secretarial, IT and customer services at Ability Plus Employment Agency. Call into their offices on Prospect Hill, Douglas, or telephone 662165 for information on employment prospects in the Isle of Man with Ability Plus.
That's number 27. Getting away, Matt Jackson, and since we left you, there's Paul Owen, Mark Tyrrell, Alan Bud Jackson, Hugh Reynolds and Michael Wilcox all away safely. 28 now, David Hedison from Brigg, up there in the northeast of England. He's away safely, and number 29 gets the signal now. This is Keith Shannon from County Down in Northern Ireland. He retired at Appledene last year. He'll be hoping to go one better, and now we've got an unusual sight of 5 non-starters in this lightweight race. So the next to get the signal to go is due to be number 35, Robert A. Price from Stroud. Regular competitor. The reason he's down as Robert A. Price is there are two. I'll tell you that later. Now Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
And guess what? It's Joey Dunlop. First on the road here at Glen Helen, 9.5 miles, and Joey Dunlop leads on the road. Ahead of that man, Milky Bar, Richard Quayle. Followed by number 1, Paul Williams. So absolutely fantastic. Joey Dunlop flying. There's number 4, John McGuinness. So there's no question who's leading on corrected time there. Joey Dunlop first through here at Glen Helen. And it was obvious from the expectation, the crowds there as they stood as he came round that first left-hander, that Joy was on the way. There's number 5, Ian Locker. Ian, who retired last year at Quarry Bends, but Joy Dunlop, who won the Formula 1 on Saturday, it seems like an age ago. Well, we've had a long wait, but is it going to be worthwhile, I would think, for all the spectators around the course? Joey Dunlop leads on the road here at Glen Helen after just 9.5 miles. He started number 3. There's number 6, Gary Dines. On the Honda, followed by 7, Dennis McCulloch. But absolutely flying through here. So we await the arrival of Jason Griffiths, of course, who led the practice leaderboard, but it's Joey Dunlop first on the road, and obviously of the first that have gone through, first uncorrected time. John McGuinness was also going well, of course, last year's winner on the Vimto Honda, but Joey Dunlop has got past Richard Quayle and Paul Williams on that first run. Paul, of course, perhaps not expected to be quite on that pace. He won the 400 last year, I think he was in, and of course Richard Quayle, who's been going so well following his double win in the Manx Grand Prix. Number 10 is next, and there's Jason Griffiths. Knee out and round that left-hander. He's got ahead of Richard Britton, number 9, on the Schimmel Sandown Honda, so he's caught up a little bit of time there. But Joey Dunlop, absolutely fantastic. And just the conditions for him, we saw that on the Formula 1. So well does he know his way around this course, and with the difficult conditions, and there are many more of those to come with the damp patches that we've already heard about. But at least we've got racing here on this circuit. Number 11, Darren Lindsay. Followed by 1, 2, very quick together there, 12 and 14, virtually together as Simon Smith, with Sean Harris right behind him. So Sean Harris, who started 20 seconds behind Simon Smith, have obviously caught all that back. And number 15, also well up there, Bruce Anstey. Bruce, who was 7th last year. Sean Harris, 11th in the Formula 1 and going well, but no question about it. The leader is Joey Dunlop from John McGuinness as they left us here. He's got a 5-second advantage over John McGuinness. 5 seconds he's pulled out on John in that 9.5 miles. 16 is Neil Richardson, looking to improve on last year when he retired in the pits. So a 5-second advantage for Joey Dunlop over John McGuinness. In 3rd place, number 5 is Ian Locker. He's a further 5 seconds down on John McGuinness. 3 seconds ahead of number 7, Dennis McCulloch, who's in 4th. Dennis McCulloch in turn 4 seconds ahead of 5th place man number 2, Richard Quayle. Milky Bar's in 5th, and he's 4 seconds ahead of that joint 6th place between number 6, Gary Dines, and number 10, Jason Griffiths. Back to Peter for a moment.
Yes, because the 400 class is about to get underway, and first off will be Johnny Barton, who's led this race for so many times, only to have bad luck, and he's away this time. Let's hope it's the 3 laps for him. He's away safely. Now another rider from New Zealand, Craig Shuddoff's won the Newcomers Award on his first attempt here, and another man who can go very, very well indeed. In fact, I think it was said that that's the bike that Paul Williams has won the 400 class on for the past 2 years. 53, Craig McLean, unfortunately, from the USA, a man who was doing really well in the 400s and singles in recent years, is a non-starter. So number 54 will be next away, and that's Steve Linsdell on the Flitwick Yamaha. So this class is underway. Let's get an update now from Morris.
Yes, indeed, Peter. I can... You left us, number 19, Mark Watts, has been through. He was ahead of number 17, who's also through, Barry Wood, and it's important we give these a mention. Kate Parkinson certainly made that first 9.5 miles and was ahead of Paul Owen. 24 is next, is Hugh Reynolds, but I can shuffle some of the later leaderboard. In 5th place now, moving up there, is number 15, Bruce Anstey. He's ahead of 6th place man number 14, Sean Harris, by some 2 seconds. Sean in turn is 1 second ahead now of number 2, Milky Bar Quayle, who's been relegated to 7th place. I think that was 25 just going through there, almost missed that, Michael Wilcox. He had an interview with Jeff earlier. So in joint 8th place now, number 6, Gary Dines, and number 10, Jason Griffiths, who led the practice leaderboard. 3, 4, 5, 7, 15, 14, 2, then 6 and 10. 27 is next, that's Matt Jackson. And of course, such is the interest in this 250cc class, there's almost a danger of forgetting that there is another class, and they'll be with us fairly shortly. The speculation, of course, about the pit stops, if you were, of course, to pit at the end of lap 2, you'd only have 1 flying lap. Let's hope it keeps dry, but it's Joey Dunlop who leads by 5 seconds from 4 McGuinness, 5 seconds further back, number 5 Locker, 3 seconds further back on that, number 7 McCulloch. McCulloch in turn just 1 second ahead of number 15 Anstey, who's 2 seconds ahead of number 14 Sean Harris, then 2, 6, 10, 16, 19, 1. With that, back to the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
The Lightweight Race Commentary, brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Profis fahren Arai. Arai-Helme, weltweit die Nummer 1. Holt euch eure Arai-Helme in Deutschland in allen Goto-Helm-Studios. Übrigens, Goto-Helm-Studio und die Freizeitidee bieten super Reisetouren für euren nächsten Inseltrip an. Arai, there's a difference.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Well, getting away now is number 70. That's Phil Neen from Braddon in the Isle of Man with his Honda 400. And then Anita Buxton, one of the ladies who hasn't got a start in this 250 race. So the next away will be number 73. That's Peter Jarman, the rider from Switzerland who competes in the Classic Manx Grand Prix, the Southern 100, the Pre-TT Classic, the TT. He's just an absolute fanatic for the Isle of Man. Peter Jarman from Switzerland. He gets the signal now, and with that familiar... Whoops, oh, doesn't sound too healthy for him. But he's got it back on song, and he's away safely. He's followed by number 74. That's Martin Sharp, and now to Motorcycle News Ramsey.
It's the flag being held out for the first man on the road, which should be William Joseph, that diminished adhesion flag already poised there. And here comes William Joseph now. Here he is, your man himself. Change of Scott leathers for this one. He's got the silver ones on. We start the watch there. That gap now, and we reckon that John McGuinness should be second on the road. Joey goes up onto that damper. He just gingerly applies the power on the Bertie Payne Honda. He is away, and it's Flint McGuinness second on the road. Flint McGuinness, who's second on the road. Well, I'm not going to look to my stopwatch because I've failed to start it. Well, there is John McGuinness, and we'll have to rely upon Patrick O'Hanlon. Here's the third man on the road, Milky Quayle, second of the Vimto Hondas. Well, that's under the Martin Bullock banner, but the big two are away with it, and what was a 5-second advantage has increased to 7 seconds, a further 2 seconds added by himself over Flint McGuinness in that second position. Remember, John McGuinness, lap record holder for this class, up against the man that is now heading toward win number 25. Well, quite sensibly, the flag being held out for these riders to say it's damp under the trees. This is Ian Locker on the green and yellow Manton Group Honda. 4 times a TT winner, not on the pipe. He's gingerly squirting it away quite sensibly. Short shifting. Paul Williams, the chopper pilot from Dunedin in New Zealand, 2 times a TT winner. Then number 7, that's Dennis McCulloch. 6 times the Irish champion, Dennis McCulloch on the David Lunny electrical Honda. This then is number 6. This is Gary Dines, current 250 Irish champion on the Royal Hotel Honda. We still have just got those top 2. Dunlop number 3 from McGuinness number 4. 7 seconds is the advantage. Some, what are we? Some 25 miles out, 24 miles out, with some 13 miles or so to go over the mountain. Into third place then we can now see number 5 Ian Locker is confirmed in that third place, but the gap between Locker and McGuinness is now 24 seconds. 24 seconds is that? Well, it was just 5 seconds. That now is 24 seconds. Here's Jason Griffiths, right in his backyard, lives just over the back here at Ramsey on the Dennis Trollope Racing Yamaha. Big lad for the 250s. That won't be a handicap though. That will keep the lightweight 250 down on some of the rougher parts of the circuit. Equal third, we have number 7 Dennis McCulloch. McCulloch now in with Locker, equal third. So 3 Dunlop, 7 seconds up on McGuinness number 4. But these two are 24 seconds clear of 5 Locker and 7 McGuinness. That there is number 9 Richard Britton. None the worse for it. Oh, number 14 Sean Harris. He is on the charge. Well, this is one Kiwi who can fly. Sean Harris on Peter Berg's Honda. He is away with it. Number 15 also up. That's the second Kiwi. That's Smiler Anstey on the second of the Dennis Trollope Yamahas. So surely they will be shuffled in quite appreciably up on the pecking order. Anstey and Sean Harris. Sean Harris, who wants to get in on the British Super Stock Series and the British 250 Short Circuit Championships. He's hoping for a ride there for the rest of the year. This is Ronnie Smith. First ever ride on a 250. Bespectacled Ronnie. he's not quite sure how to get away. He pulled the clutch in, let the clutch go. He's a bit of a hokey-cokey with it. So what have we got then behind Locker and McGuinness? Locker and McCulloch. As number 16 goes through Neil Richardson, it is then number 15. Number 15 we can put in there Bruce Anstey. Bruce Anstey 2 seconds down on Locker and McCulloch and just 2 seconds ahead of Kiwi Sean Harris. So that looks as if it's all a bit hectic here. Poor old Patrick, he's pulling his hair out. Well, what there is left of it. 3, 2 grey and 1 loose. Dunlop, number 3, 7 seconds up on number 4 McGuinness. 24 seconds back, we have equal third. 5 and 7, Locker and McCulloch. 2 seconds behind them in 5th position. It is number 15, and that is Bruce Anstey, who is just 2 seconds ahead of number 14, and that is Sean Harris. Sean Harris on the Peter Berwick Honda, and bespectacled Peter, he will be delighted to hear that his boy is up there in 5th position. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6th position. That would be 6th position for Sean Harris. Well, the 400s will be already thundering their way through the Glen Helen section. We've got that quiet space, that quiet bit of road, but no longer. Here's another one coming up toward us. This looks to be Barry Wood, winner of the Classic Lightweight Manx Grand Prix. And I think then with the 400s at Glen Helen, we can go back to the Motorcycle News point at Glen Helen.
Yes, indeed, Fred, thanks. First on the road here in the 400s was 51 local competitor John Barton, but not first on corrected time. That currently goes to number 54, Steve Linsdell, who's ahead of number 57, Brett Richmond, in second place. In third place, number 64, that's Jeff McMullen. 6 seconds separate number 54, Linsdell, from number 57, Brett Richmond. In fourth place, number 56, we have Dave Madsden Migdal. In fifth place, number 65, the man who led the practice leaderboard, Brian Gardner. I thought he might have been a little further up there. He's followed in sixth place by number 66, John Vincent. So the 400s are really tramping on. Good battle we saw on the road there between number 52, Craig Sheriffs, and number 54, Steve Linsdell, who was leading. So just to give you the news that number 54 leads by 6 seconds. That's Linsdell from number 57, Brett Richmond. With that, back to the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
The Lightweight Race Commentary, brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
Duke Video are proud to sponsor the first Formula One TT race of the new millennium. Duke offer the world's biggest range of bike sport videos, DVDs, prints and CDs. Check out the Duke Video shop in Castle Street, Douglas, behind the TT Grandstand, or visit our website at dukevideo.com. Duke Video, the winning formula for bike sport entertainment.
During the TT Festival, you can do a one-stop shop and eat and drink as well. From Thursday of practice week through all of TT week, Tesco Douglas will open the cafe at 7 a.m, the store at 8:30 a.m, and stay open until midnight. Tesco. Every little helps.
Well, the Scouts are leaping into action on the scoreboard opposite because number 3, Joey Dunlop, the green light above his number indicating he's past Cronknamona and on the final mile and a bit for this first lap of the 250 class of the lightweight TT for the year 2000. So what will the difference be here? 5 seconds it was at Glen Helen, 7 seconds at Ramsey Hairpin. They started 10 seconds apart on the road. That's number 3, Joey Dunlop. Number 4, John McGuinness, also indicated at Cronknamona, as is number 2, Richard Milky Bark Head Quayle. So 3-4-2 was the order we expect him to come into our view, and very shortly Joey Dunlop should come through, but I doubt if he'll take his pit stop at the end of the first lap, because 2 years ago he went straight through, a lap was cut off and he was the winner. So I think this is Joey Dunlop now. He's stopping. Joey is coming in at the end of lap 1. That's most unusual. We didn't expect that. Let's go down to Jeff.
Yes, here he is into the stop box. It's to get the flying lap, I think, at the end of the second, and here he is, and he stops safely now. And the fuel is going to go in. Visor change. No wheel changing, of course. A drink for Joey. Pressure's on. Clutch in. And here's Quayle. No, McGuinness, rather. McGuinness, time the matter here. There goes Dunlop. Quayle comes in. 10 seconds between them now. 7, 8, 9, 10. This is Joey's lead. McGuinness has the rear wheel checked. Fuel in, it's all action here. And Quayle's gone through, so that's going to disturb the calculations. He'll move into the lead, I imagine. 20 seconds, I make it a 10-second lead for Joey after the pit stops. Well, that's surprising, but Quayle's gone through. You don't notice that when you're watching the pit counter. Checking here, of course, it was a splash and dash, but now the tank is full and it's got to do 2 laps, so that's okay because it was intended to do 2 laps out of if it would have been 4 anyway, so that's no different. And they're the only callers so far. Strange that the 2 leaders should stop in such close company, and in fact already I think we're going over to Maurice Maudsley, Motorcycle News, Glen Helen. No, I thought it was pretty quick. Okay, number 5 has gone through, and that, of course, is Locker. Tim, I made it 10 seconds out.
Yes, well, I timed it at 9.
Okay, well, it's 9:10, but there goes, who was that, Dan? McCulloch went through there. I thought that was a pretty rapid trip to Glen Helen. So it's not going to unravel this because all the riders going through clearly will move ahead of those who've stopped.
No, with Dunlop and McGuinness a fair distance ahead at Ramsey, they still have the lead and second. With Quayle 11 seconds behind McGuinness and Locker 4 seconds behind Quayle.
Yeah, but you've got to add 30 seconds for the stop.
Well, I've done.
They'll move into the race lead, even so.
Yeah.
Astounding that they can stop and still be in the lead on time.
Yeah.
Okay, I bow to you, what's it? And they're all hammering through now, but those 2 riders, McGuinness and Joey Dunlop, have both opted for the first lap stop. It might be, of course, that they're saying it's good enough for the 3 laps, so it more or less removes the suggestion, I would think, from the experienced Dunlop there's any chance of the race being reduced to 2 because of the weather the riders are experiencing. Peter?
Yeah, Joey had an opening lap of 19 minutes 25.4, 116.55, and his lead over John McGuinness was 7.5 seconds, and he'd lapped at 115.80. I've just been told that the sidecar race will start at 5:15 and will be held over 3 laps of the course, and that the lap of honour will start at 10 minutes past 7, so the lap of honour is on. The crossing points to be opened between the lightweight and the sidecar, and again before the lap of honour. So that's 5:15, a 3-lap sidecar race, and at 7:10 the lap of honour. That's the news as we have it here at the moment. Milky had an opening lap of 20 minutes 6.9, an average speed of 112.54, but not in 3rd place obviously because these don't take into account the pit stops. Number 15 is up into 3rd place, and that is Bruce Anstey. And we're still waiting for the time for number 14, Sean Harris, to be clocked in on our computer. There's number 12, and that is Simon Smith. He's safely through at the end of lap number 1. And just checking again, number 14 is in 4th place. So the order at the end of lap 1 was Joey Dunlop leading. Number 4, John McGuinness, was in 2nd place. In 3rd place was number 15, Bruce Anstey. 4th was number 14, that is Sean Harris. 5th was number 2, Milky Quayle, and in 6th place was number 7, that is Dennis McCulloch. 3, 4, 15, 14, 2 and 7, that was the order at the end of lap 1. Quickly now to Motorcycle News, Ramsey.
The drama appears to be, Peter, that number 54, Steve Linsdell, has not arrived thus far, leading by 6 seconds, some 15 miles back. He has not arrived. We've had number 51 come through there, John Barton. We've had number 52, Rod on his tail, Craig Sheriffs. This is number 58, Sandra Barnett, who's arrived. We've also had 56, Dave Madison Bigdall, and 57, Brett Richmond. Now 58, Sandra Barnett. 5 have arrived, but no sign of number 54, Steve Linsdell, who was leading at that first commentary point down there at Motorcycle News, Glen Helen. Joint leader 56 and 57 cannot be separated. 56 Madston Migdal, and I tell you what, he really did come scorching up the hill toward us. There's Jeff McMullen going through, and here's number 60 on the road, Dennis Gallagher. But
I've just heard that Linsdell is out at Cronknamona, Cronkavody, retired at Cronkavody. Steve Linsdell, rider okay?
Well, that would be on the Cronkavody straight, and that's at least good news that he is okay. That high-speed run that heads him on then toward the 11th milestone, just a couple of miles up the road from Morris. But I think as number 66 goes through there, that's John Vincent from Ormskirk. We can shuffle in 3rd place, number 64 in 3rd place, 9 seconds down on the 2 leaders. Let's quickly go back to Maurice Maudsley, Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Yes, absolutely right, Fred, because there's the flying man. It's Joey Dunlop. He's through here for lap 2, having had the pit stop, and still leading this race both on the road and on corrected time, ahead of number 4, John McGuinness, and these two are pulling out all the stops. And here is number 2, Milky Bar Kid, but of course he's gone straight through, and Joey's taken him twice on the run to Glen Helen, once on the first lap, and obviously there on the second, because Richard Quayle, we were told, went straight through. So we wait for number 4 McGuinness. This is him. but he's still down on Joey Dunlop, who's absolutely flying through here, line ride all the time as conditions continue to improve. And what a fantastic race already. First in the Formula One. Is it going to be a double in 2 days racing for Joey Dunlop? Fifth in this race last year. And, well, it's breathtaking. It really is. And great excitement after the long day. There's Locker. Locker, who retired at Quaddy Benz last year. Always looks good around here. Ian Locker takes a very, very wide line around this long left-hand bend as they sweep away from us towards Craig Willis. Locker on the Manton Honda. Number 7, Dennis McCulloch, 4th for him last year. But the leaderboard positions being shuffled in. We wait the arrival of Bruce Anstey and Sean Harris. They seem to be having a good battle there for 3rd and 4th place, but there's no answer to the two up front, and certainly no answer to Joey Dunlop, number 3, who's got an 18-second advantage now over John McGuinness. So he's pulled out a further 9 seconds or so since the pit stop and on the 9.5-mile run. Absolutely, second a mile. It's tremendous, really. 6th there, Gary Dines, 6th for him last year. Just go up to Fred for a moment.
Yes, and we can tell you the top 6 in the 400 category. Equal first, 56 and 57. Madsen, Migdal and Richmond. They have a 9 seconds advantage over third man, number 64, and that is number 64 being Jeff McMullen. 7 seconds behind him, number 65, which is Brian Gardner. He in turn just 2 seconds up on number 66, John Vincent, and Vincent enjoys a 3-second advantage over number 52, Sheriffs. That's 56, 57 leading, 64, 65, 66, 52. Back to Morris Morsley, Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Yeah, just in perfect timing there, Fred, because 15 and 14 absolutely together around that bend. Bruce Anstey and Sean Harris, and quite obviously Bruce Anstey with the lead on corrected time over those two, should be holding on to that 3rd place. Disappointment there, unfortunately, for Steve Linsdell, as you said, having retired at Cronkovody. So that's left a pretty good race for the 400s there with Dave Marsden, Migdal and Brett Richmond. They started just 10 seconds apart and fighting it out because we couldn't split them, or at least Fred couldn't have at Ramsey. Number 9 now is Richard Britton. I can tell you that safely through here while you were away at Ramsey was number 10 Jason Griffiths and at number 1 Paul Williams, so they've safely gone through here. But I can tell you there's been a change, because just looking to Ian, moving up into 2nd place is Bruce Anstey. Number 15's got ahead on corrected time of John McGuinness, following of course the pit stops, and I don't know whether Bruce Anstey was in. I don't think so. I think he went straight through. So for the moment at least anyway, Dunlop leads from number 15 Bruce Anstey by 13 seconds here at Glen Helen on lap 2. Anstey in turn 5 seconds ahead of McGuinness. We know he's had his pit stop. There's number 12 and 16 right behind there. So the first of those was Simon Smith, followed by Neil Richardson. So just time to take breath with these two classes in one. We shuffle the papers about. We don't need to shuffle too much for Joey Dunlop, of course, because he has that 13-second advantage over new second-place man now on corrected time, Bruce Anstey, who's 5 seconds ahead of number 4, John McGuinness. McGuinness, in turn, 6 seconds up on number 14, Sean Harris, who's virtually on the road with Bruce Anstey. He's in 4th place, as I say, 6 seconds down on John McGuinness, 2 seconds ahead of corrected time of Richard Quayle. Milky Bar's in 5th place, but he hasn't pitted, and we know that. 3 seconds ahead of number 7, Dennis McCulloch, who's in 6th, 2 seconds further back on that. In 7th place, number 5, Ian Locker. They're followed by number 10, Jason Griffiths. But the news from Glen Helen is that it's Dunlop by 13 seconds from new second-place man, 15, Bruce Anstey. With that, back to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
The Lightweight Race Commentary. Brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
One day you might meet Carl Fogarty. One day you'll find the bike of your dreams. One day you might find that elusive accessory. One day you may find a show that's actually exciting. The new International Scooter and Motorcycle Show, the NEC Birmingham, from the 10th to the 19th November. The ultimate day out.
She's perfect. Great body, awesome curves, so sleek. And what a mover. And she does 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
When there's more than one passion in your life, Motorcycle News, full of bikes to fall in love with, out every Wednesday.
There are great job opportunities in the Isle of Man in accounts, banking, secretarial, IT and customer services at Ability Plus Employment Agency. Call into their offices on Prospect Hill, Douglas, or telephone 662165 for information on employment prospects in the Isle of Man with Ability Plus.
Après un tour, en tête le numéro 3, Joey Dunlop, suivi de numéro 4, John McGuinness, et en troisième le numéro 15, Bruce Anstey. Peter.
Dankeschön, Mavis. Nach der ersten Runde für Joey Dunlop, Startnummer 3 mit 7,5 Sekunden vor Startnummer 4, John McGuinness. Beide haben ihren Boxenstopp schon absolviert. McGuinness hat 26,1 Sekunden Vorsprung vor Startnummer 15, Bruce Anstey. Peter Neal, bitte.
Well, the leader on the road, number 52, has gone through, but we're looking for 56 and 57. That's 51. There's 56. We stop the watch now. 10 seconds to go before number 57. They were tied at Ramsey hairpin on this lap. Dave Madsen-Migdal and Brett Richmond. There's 57. I stopped my watch on 9.5. Half a second, but either way it could be, because my watch is, or at least my timing is unofficial, so we'll wait for the official news on that, but certainly it's very, very close indeed there. Number 40 appears to have a problem. That's Peter Wakefield from Sandbach, just across the water. He's down in the pits. But I say again, 56 and 57, virtually I couldn't separate them at the end of that first lap. We'll check the time shortly, but number 40, Peter Wakefield, maybe it was a recognised stop, but certainly he's way down on time because he's been passed by the leaders of the 400 class. 52 was leading on the road. That's Craig Shirreffs. 51, John Barton safely through, but 56 and 57, we can hardly separate them on the stopwatch at the end of this first lap. Meantime, looking at the clocks, the leaders on the 250 class, number 3, Joey Dunlop, and number 4, McGuinness, they're well on their way to Ramsey. In fact, I think it's time we went over now to prepare to receive them with Fred Clark to Motorcycle News Ramsey.
And shouldn't be far away. The people stand up down by Stella Maris, and right on cue, here comes that yellow helmet. Dunlop on Dunlop, Joey Dunlop on the Dunlop tires. Let's stop the watch, start the watch there. And beautifully through, Dunlop on Dunlop, Ireland on Scott. The Irishman from Northern Ireland with the Scott leathers. Winners like your man wears Scott, it always says, I remember, in their advert. Well, is he going to make it win number 25, a quarter of a century? The honorary president of Saga. He'll have free entry into Saga for all his life, will this man? 48 years young. Here then, number 2, this is Milky Quail. We are taking the gap between Joey Dunlop and number 4, because we know that Anstey's got to go into the pits. Good approach from John McGuinness, good approach from John McGuinness, albeit 37 seconds. And what that indicates is that what was an 18-second gap between first and third, nay second, because we've got no Anstey's going into the pits. What was 18 seconds at the start has now gone up to 27 seconds, so that's another 9 seconds, half a second a mile. Your man, William Joseph, has pulled away from last year's winner, John McGuinness. There is number 5, Ian Locker. Former lap record holder, master of the 125s, master of the 250s, and now proving that he's a very, very good big bike rider on the Formula 1. Ian Locker, he is on his way. Well, that tremendous scrap going on in the 400s. David Madsen-Migdal, a boy who lives in Douglas, but an Oxfordshire lad through and through, looking for his first ever
Fred,
TT victory.
at the end of the lap, they were absolutely level. 21 minutes, 40.9 seconds each, 57 and 56, dead level.
Well, even with your stuttering digit, Peter, I didn't bring your unofficial timing into question. I thought you'd got it just about spot on, and that there is confirmed. Why do they need all this high sophisticated equipment when we've got the likes of you there, Peter, with the old egg timer? Absolutely level as they were here, some 13 miles before they got home at the end of that first lap. Dave Madsen-Migdal and Brett Richmond. It's Isle of Man versus New Zealand. There is number 10, Jason Griffiths, the three-legged Welsh dragon. Jason Griffiths riding for Dennis Trollope, runner-up in the Irish 600 Series last year, but second in the 250 TT. We're awaiting to shuffle in, of course. Number 15, Bruce Anstey, got to wait for him to get thus far, but he's going to go in toward Gasoline Alley. He's going to go in and collect the green shield stamps, or perhaps the 2 tokens for some free glasses. That was Gary Dines, somewhat reluctantly away from the hairpin. Now, here's number 15, Smiler Anstey, the boy from Wellington, and that's appropriate. Wellington boots on this very, very wet morning, as number 14 can't stay with him. It must be said that he's seen off the challenge from number 14, Sean Harris. Bruce Anstey from Wellington. Sean Harris from Auckland has to give best. He's lost 10 seconds plus about 2 further seconds. Now the gap is 23 seconds over Anstey, but this is the critical one, because this will be the real second place man. This is John McGuinness, 4 seconds down, so it is 27 seconds, the gap between first and third. There is number 1, Paul Williams. Well, he was on such a wide line that it looked like he was taking the holiday route, the scenic route, but he comes back onto the TT course and then continues his way up toward the waterworks. So 23 seconds, Dunlop leads number 15, Anstey. Forget him because he's going to go into the pits. That means that and then 4 seconds back on Anstey is McGuinness, number 4, and 8 seconds back on him. We then have Sean Harris. Well, let's just think about this. 15-14. Yes, well, he will have been closing in, won't he? 15 from 14. No, it won't. In fact, we've got to shuffle in there. Surely Bruce Anstey in there. He's there. Yes, Anstey is there second. Sorry, Patrick. Yes, I'll do my job, you'll do your job. Thank you very much indeed. Dunlop from Anstey, 23 seconds. Third, 4 seconds back is McGuinness, but he will move up into second. 8 seconds back then it is number 14, Kiwi Harris. 3 seconds behind him, number 2, Milky Bar Kid, Quayle. And then 4 seconds back on him, number 5, and that is Ian Locker. Another one on the holiday route, that's number 16, Neil Richardson, taking the long way round the hairpin. There's Ronnie Smith, Simon Ronnie Smith. And we've got in 7th place Jason Griffiths, and in 8th place we've got number 7 Dennis McCulloch. Well done, Patrick. You're not as green as your cabbage looking, are you? Look at that. Leading this one then, number 3 Dunlop, 23 seconds up on number 15 Anstey, who is 4 seconds up on number 4 McGuinness, who is 8 seconds up on number 14, and that is Sean Harris. 3 seconds back in 5th position, number 2 Milky Bar Kid. And 4 seconds back on him is Ian Locker. In 7th place, just 2 seconds back on Locker is Jason Griffiths, and he is just 2 seconds up on number 7, and that is Dennis McCulloch. But it's all going to change because Dunlop and McGuinness are going to go flying through the start-finish area, but putting the left-hand indicator out to go and get on the gas will be number 15, Bruce Anstey. So let's hear all about it as we go then from the Motorcycle News Ramsey commentary point, some 13 miles ahead to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
The Lightweight Race Commentary. Brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
When you're at the greatest road racing festival in the world, you need the greatest selection of clothing to mark the event. Make sure you visit the shopping area behind the grandstand. It's open all day, every day, and you'll find the official TT clothing from fleeces to polos, jackets to caps. Plus, there's refreshments available all day. So stop at the shopping centre behind the grandstand.
Let's get an update there on the 400 lightweight from Morris at Motorcycle News Glen Helen.
Yes, thank you, Peter. Well, I can tell you there has been a slight change there because number 57, Brett Richmond, has pulled out an advantage over number 56, Dave Madsden-Migdal, of 3 seconds. They've been virtually locked together on corrected time, both at Ramsey and at the grandstand, but the advantage at the moment lies with Brett Richmond, 3 seconds ahead of local competitor Dave Madsden-Migdal, who's in second place, 57 and 56. I can tell you that number 56, David, was in the lead on the road, and sandwiched between them, I think, was 51, John Barton. We didn't see 52, Craig Sheriffs, come through. Into third place, we can slot number 64, Jeff McMullen, but he's 4 seconds down on number 56, Dave Madsden-Migdal. So the order in the 400s at Glen Helen, lap 2. 57, Brett Richmond leads by 3 seconds from 56, Dave Madsden-Migdal. He's 4 seconds ahead of number 64, Jeff McMullen. So that's the update on 400s. Back to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
Well, the light is on for number 3, but he'll be going straight through, of course, while they await their arrival. Let me tell you that number 11, Darren Lindsay, retired at the pits. Number 19, Mark Watts, retired at the Wagon and Horses. Number 37, Andrew Marsden, retired at Quarterbridge. Number 52, Craig Sheriffs, retired at St Ninians. And number 54, Steve Linsdell, as we told you, retired at Cronknamona. So that's the retirements. Here's Joey. Cross the line now. We start the watch. Because, of course, 15 and 14 will be in for their pit stops, whereas Joey now is away on his third and final lap, and the time difference between him and number 4, John McGuinness, will confirm the first and second positions. Well, it's coming up to 10 seconds, 20 seconds now since Joey crossed the line, so he's really building up his lead. What was it the last time we heard? It was something like 19 seconds. No, in fact, it was 31 seconds, so it's coming up to that now anyway. And here is number 2, Milky. Milky is in, stops in the stop box, down to his pit. And there's McGuinness going through now, and I stopped my watch on 45 seconds, subtract 10, 35 seconds unofficially. Joey leads at the end of lap 2, and they're away on their final lap. But 15 and 14 we're waiting for. They're coming into the pits. Jeff is poised ready down at the far end of the pits, the lower end, and waiting now for... Milky is away.
Here's Quayle now coming out of the pits.
And
wiping his visor. Locker's coming in, but they're both at the top. But I'm doing Anstey and Harris here for third, because of course McGuinness will automatically move to second position, has already indeed done so. So it's Anstey versus Harris, 12 seconds in it at the hairpin. Harris about halfway up the pits, but Anstey here at the bottom, the last pit of all, where Dave Leach used to be quite some years ago. So wait now for Locker to come blasting out of here, and then shortly Harris will come in. He will fill up. As he does so, we expect Anstey to arrive, overtake him in the pits, and then stop, and we'll see how it unravels then. Here's Locker.
Dennis McCulloch in now, number 7.
Yeah, maybe I should have stayed at the top, but this is the dice for third we're on here, and the only way of doing it with it being so far down.
The lights are on, they're through Cronknamona.
Okay, one thing I did notice, Joey took St Ninians in the top of Bray Hill absolutely flat out. He rolled the big VTR on the one David Jeffries had gone out on Saturday. And here now, I think, are our customers coming.
No, Jason Griffiths, number 10.
Right, number 10 comes into the centre then. And they've been blitzed, really. And Milky Quayle must be wondering how Joey Dunlop's passed him twice. Here's McCulloch coming out. By gosh, he's going. Front wheel well in the air there, doing about 90 mile an hour as he passed us here. And here, at the top end.
Number 15, here he is,
Anstey
Jeff.
is ahead of Harris, of course. Anstey was 12 seconds, so 2. Whoa, this is going to be tight. Whoa, there's Griffiths, and here's Anstey coming in.
John McGuinness is retired at Quarterbridge, we're told. John McGuinness out at Quarterbridge.
Oh, well, this is for second then. So here's Anstey now. Possibility of second place. Takes a drink out of a cool bag here, screen cleaned. Dines coming in at the top end here as the fuel goes into the Trollope Yamaha. And we're going to start him, but he's ahead of Harris by whatever it is he gets away from. Start the watch now, he goes, and Harris is still at his pits. It's plus 10, of course, for second place. 10 seconds I make that, so that, in fact 9, so that's 19, I think I'm correct there, 19 seconds. That in fact it's Anstey in second place if McGuinness has gone at the Quarterbridge. There's Dines blasting out of the pits. And certainly that's quite an unravel left. And we'll get the commercials and then check the times with Tim.
The Lightweight Race Commentary, brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas. Come rain or shine, the venue on the Central Prom in Douglas guarantees the hottest TT action. Happy hours, 2 live bands every night, racing action with TT and British Superbike stars, plus the fair biker babes, bringing some very warm fronts and other bits your way. So for the ultimate storming TT party experience, get into the venue tonight.
Richard Britton leaves the pits. At the pits is Paul Williams. Coming into the pits is Neil Richardson. But Tim, the times.
Well, McGuinness out. Dunlop has got a 1 minute and 3 second lead over Anstey, who has got a 13 second lead over Quayle, who's a 1 second lead over Harris, 5 seconds over Locker, and 9 seconds over Griffiths.
On to Morris Maudsley, MCN Glen Helen.
Yes, indeed, and here's Dunlop behind some of the later runners of the 400 class, and the crowd wave once again. The second time we've seen that at this meeting. Joey Dunlop leads by, well, the last time we were on air for the Formula 1, I think on the last lap he had a 50-second advantage or thereabouts. Now we know that the grandstand, certainly following the departure of McGuinness, it was something in excess of a minute, some 63 seconds. There's number 88, Alan Shamley. So certainly Dunlop right amongst the later runners in the 400cc class, but an absolutely fantastic advantage. I mean, 15 Bruce Anstey some time before he's going to be due with us. And is this going to be win number 25 for Joey Dunlop? Certainly in this event, the lightweight 250, Joey won this from 95 through to 98. He obviously loaned the title last year to McGuinness. just for 1 year, because it looks as though he's going to get it back. Of course, the last time he won this title was in that the famous race that we've talked about so much while we were on air previously, the two-lapper, as it turned out to be, in the appalling conditions that pervaded here in 1998. But Dunlop safely through here for the third and final time in this reduced race, this three-lapper, and well, an absolutely superb performance. Just looking back at one or two other events, looking back in fact to the 400s. Remember we had, but I think we can have some information from Ramsey. Up to you, Fred.
We can confirm exactly what they were when they passed you, Morris. That it's no, in fact, it's reversed. It's reversed. It was Richmond 3 seconds ahead, I believe, when they passed you. That is now 3 seconds to Madsen Migdal. Number 56, Dave Madsen Migdal, 3 seconds up on number 57, and number 57 has got to be Brett Richmond. Let me just confirm that. Madsen Migdal, 3 seconds up on Brett Richmond. They're the top two through. We'll come back with further news, but let's go back quickly to Morris Morsley at Motorcycle News, Glen Helen.
Yeah, thank you for that, Fred. So Dave Madsden Migdal obviously pulling out there, having got that, well, he's gained 6 seconds on the run-up to Ramsey. This is number 5, Ian Locker. But don't panic, those supporters of Milky Bar. He's been through here, Richard Quayle, whilst we were getting that update from Fred. So he's safely through, but no point in shuffling them in at the moment. We wait the arrival of Bruce Anstey to see where that is. New Zealand is, in fact, lying in second, I think, and almost in third, second and fourth maybe, with Milky Bar just separating those lying in third place, some 13 seconds down. That was at the grandstand at the end of lap 2. So unfortunately McGuinness out there at the quarter bridge leaves it open for Dunlop, but he had a lot in hand in any event, and he really is tramping on. Number 7, Dennis McCulloch, 4th for him last year, and well up on the leaderboard, but there's no answer to your man. Looking for victory number 25, 28 miles to go when he left here, something less than that now. And, well, we'll look at the 400s in a little bit more detail in a moment. We know that number 56, local man Dave Madsden Migdal, a regular competitor on the island. Number 10 there is Jason Griffiths, although he led the practice leaderboard and was in second place last year. He had a good run in the Formula 1, coming into 6th place, but not really on the pace in this race, and nobody in fact seems to have the answer to Joey in these conditions. I don't think even if the conditions had been perfect they would have had any answer, because Joey obviously had his mind set on it today, and away he went. There's 15, Bruce Anstey, definitely going to improve if he continues at this rate on that 7th position he held last year. Number 14, so the two New Zealanders, that's Sean Harris, circulating together, but once Bruce Anstey got ahead on the road of Sean Harris, there's no real answer for that, so we'll slot those times in. Obviously Bruce Anstey ahead of Sean Harris. It's whether Milky Bar can slot in there in 3rd place. So the news from Glen Helen for the 3rd and final time in this particular event, the 250, is that Joey Dunlop leads from in 2nd place Bruce Anstey. I can tell you Sean Harris has moved into 3rd. The advantage for Joey Dunlop here on lap 3, I'm just looking at Ian to get that, there's only 1 second, I should tell you, separating Sean Harris from number 5. Moving up there, Ian Lockett in 4th place. 72 seconds the advantage for Joey. With that, back to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
The Lightweight Race Commentary, brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
The Isle of Man welcomes fans who love the atmosphere of top-class road racing, who appreciate the skill and practice that are behind those fantastic lap times. But remember, you've only half the road to play with, so don't play games with your speed on the open road. This message is brought to you by Kingsmead Finance and the Road Safety Officer.
Come and meet all the Yamaha stars at Road and Track this Thursday the 8th. Michael Rutter, Jason Griffith, Steve Hislop and David Jeffries will all be there. Make sure you are. Plus, there's a fantastic free prize draw to win the brand spanking new Yamaha Slider. Be there. Road and Track Motorcycles, June the 8th, Tynwald Street, Douglas.
An update on times from Glen Helen. As we heard, Joey Dunlop, number 3, 72 seconds ahead of number 15, Bruce Anstey. Bruce Anstey, 18 seconds ahead of number 14. That is Sean Harris. But Sean Harris just 1 second ahead of number 5, Ian Locker. Ian Locker, in turn, just 1 second ahead of number 2, Richard Quayle. And Quayle, in turn, just 6 seconds ahead of number 10, Jason Griffith. So the real battle there for 3rd, 4th and 5th places and 6th place between number 14 Harris, 5 Locker, 2 Quayle, and number 10 Griffiths. A real battle there for the top leaderboard places. And looking now for the lights. Top 4 we can get from Fred for the 400 class.
Yes, and Dave Madsen-Migdal attempting his first ever Supersport 400 race, 3 seconds up on number 57, and he is 4 seconds off on McMullen, number 64, 30 seconds up on number 65, Brian Gardner. So it's 56, 57, 64 and 65. With that, back to you, Peter, at the Motorcycle News Grandstand.
Right, let's get a quick update now, firstly from Mavis.
Alors, à la fin du deuxième tour, le numéro 3, Joey Dunlop, 31,4 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 15, Bruce Anstey. Lui, 4 secondes d'avance sur le numéro 4, John McGuinness, qui a abandonné. Alors donc, le numéro 14, Sean Harris, est en troisième.
Mavis, nach der zweiten Runde hatte Joey Dunlop hier bei Start und Ziel 35 Sekunden Vorsprung vor Startnummer 15 Bruce Anstey. Startnummer 4 John McGuinness lag zu dieser Zeit noch auf dem 3. Platz, ist aber ausgefallen. Dritter mittlerweile Startnummer 14 Sean Harris, damit zurück an Peter Neal.
Right, well, we're looking for the lights for the 400 to see their pit stops, obviously, this time, numbers 56 and 57. And could we be on for a local victory in the TT races with Dave Madsen-Migdal? Time will tell that. We noticed just a few moments ago Kate Parkinson was in for her pit stop and away safely. She's now on lap number 3. And the light has come on for number 56, indicated to Cronk owner, and that is Dave Madsen-Migdal, the man who we're told is leading the 400 class. And the light is also on for 57, so it's going to be very, very close indeed. Remember, at the end of the lap here, they were absolutely identical at the end of the first lap. But I think Joey is safely through Ramsey.
He's now just making the climb up toward Waterworks. He is now safely away on his run up over the mountain for the final time. The Silver Fox, it looks if he's heading now for win number 24 for William Joseph Dunlop and win number 110 and still counting for Honda. Well, what more can you say about this remarkable man? I'll tell you what, we're going to have to rename the island here. It's not going to be the Isle of Man, it's going to have to be the Isle of Euroman. The Isle of Euroman, William Joseph. Looking then now on the run, he'll be up now toward the gooseneck. From the gooseneck.
Right, this looks like the pit stops for the leaders of the 400 class. 56, David Madsen-Migdal, he's in for his pit stop. That's John Jeff.
Yes, we're right about the centre of the pits here, and he's Madsen-Migdal whips in here now and stops right by us. Only just, though, and the watch will start on 57, who skids into the stop box sideways. In fact, he's overshot it and he's stalled it. This is every advantage to Madsen-Migdal here as the fuel goes in. Number 57 is legging it down the pits here, restarts his machine and whips in ahead of us. And it's an electric start, and away goes Dave Madsen-Migdal. Now that must give him the advantage for this third and final lap. And I think it's going to be win number 25 for Dunlop, but can we complete it with a local victory? Richmond here then at the pits, 10 seconds between them, and all this now after 10, we're on 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We're going to go now, and I make that 23 seconds less 10. I think that's a 13 second, in fact, yeah, I think that's, I'm not too sure about that. I think it's a 13. Yeah, Tim O'Hanlon gives me the thumbs up. 13 seconds advantage there for Madsen-Migdal. Undoubtedly, most of that was the problems that Richmond had in the stop box, and he did overshoot it. There is a remote possibility that he'll be done for that as well, but I doubt it, because he did make a genuine effort to stop, and when he did, he stopped for longer than he wanted because he stalled it. Peter.
Right, let's rejoin Fred to catch up with the 250s.
And Ian Locker has already just gone through the Ramsey hairpin. Singularly unspectacular, Ian Locker, but that is the mark of a true professional. Ian Locker, he's on his way, of course. Ian Locker, with those 4 TT victories to his credit, held the 250 lap record for so long, went all the way back to 1990 till it went last year. 1 minute 30 seconds before we should be getting Sean Harris. Anything more than that, that is Locker's advantage. Anything less, and that is that would then put Sean Harris into the lead. 46 seconds having elapsed. That's number 7 Dennis McCulloch having gone through. Dunlop has been gone quite some time away now. He's well on his way, I would imagine, now heading out onto the mountain mile, tucked well down behind that Bertie Payne Honda, heading then to those very quick right-handers at the end of the mountain mile. Then we'll be looking in toward the mountain box, and the mountain box will be heading then on toward the veranda and then up toward the bungalow before he gets up toward Harewood Heights, and then it'll be the run back down to home. But whilst we wait for Harris, let's quickly have a word from Jeff Cannell down in the Motorcycle News pits.
Jeff McCannell, and it's Brian Gardner at the pits here and liberally covered in soap as he washes the windscreen. Blimey, it's like washing day here, and he's ready to go. And 64, Jeff McMullen, has been and gone. Yes, this soap must be washed. That's no use at all. Well, that's ridiculous. His visor is absolutely covered in washing soap. He won't be able to see a thing. That's an absolute danger, that is. The bike's covered in foam, that's one thing, but the visor got to rub with a sponge, and as he took off, he couldn't have seen a thing. As Sandra Barnett whips in, but I'll get from Tim O'Hanlon as to see who's third in the 400.
Well, it's Richmond that's third. McMullen is up to second, only 4 seconds behind Marsden Mignall.
Okay, well, the pressure's on there, and McMullen certainly wheeled it out of the pits here in his pursuit of that Madsen Mignall, who, of course, is about 3 or 4 miles ahead on the road, isn't he?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, back to Fred at MCN Ramsey Hairpin.
Exactly the same timing as they went through Glen Helen. Joey Dunlop leading Anstey in that second place. That's Bruce Anstey, Smiler Anstey, some 72 seconds or 1 minute and 12 seconds. And then Anstey leading Ian Locker, number 5, by 18 seconds. Now, what was a 1 second differential has now increased to 4 seconds. Harris has lost ground, or should we say that Locker has increased ground, because Ian Locker now cleanly in third place, some 4 seconds up on number 14, and that is Sean Harris. Harris in turn is 7 seconds up on Milky Bar Kid, Milky Quail. Quail is just 3 seconds up on number 10, Jason Griffiths, now into the top 6. So it's 3 Dunlop, 1 minute and 12 seconds up on number 15, Bruce Anstey. Anstey in turn, 18 seconds up on number 5, Ian Locker. Then it is 4 seconds back, number 14, the Kiwi, Sean Harris. 7 seconds back on him, we have number 2, Milky Bar Kid, and 3 seconds back on him, it is rider number 10, Jason Griffiths. That's the third and final shout here at Motorcycle News Ramsey Hairpin for the 250s. And I think with that we can go to Morris down at Glen Helen.
The Lightweight Race Commentary, brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
On the Isle of Man, there's so much to see, especially during TT time. But remember about the dangers of the things you can't see. Take care when you're overtaking, and make sure you can see the road ahead is clear. Keep a clear head when you overtake. This message is brought to you by Kingsmead Finance and the Road Safety Officer.
The Lightweight Race Commentary, brought to you by Conister Trust, where finance isn't a big deal.
Right, the order at the end of lap 2 for the 400 class was 56, 57, 64, 65, 51 and 66, but that's all changed, of course. Let's get the update from Motorcycle News Glen Helen.
Well, hopefully, Peter, we should have the first of the 400s through with us very shortly indeed, and it should be David Madsden Mignall on the road, who of course has that advantage, but it looks as though that's been eroded by number 64, Jeff McMullen. So we've been watching, of course, the battle as we have all around the course between 56 David Madsden Mignall and, of course, 57 Brett Richmond, but all is changing. But here is the man, so that's the man who leads 56 at the moment, Dave Madsden Mignall. I make it, there's 1 minute and 20 seconds on corrected time. So Dave, I think, was 18th last year, and of course had a good run in the Formula 1 into 17th place, but can he hold on for a local win here? Number 28 just goes through, it's back to Peter.
Right, well, we don't want to miss this because the light is on for number 3. He's through Cronknamona, the quite remarkable Joey Dunlop, coming in to win race number 25 in his 25th year. He missed out last year where he'd been 24 from 24. He's caught up this time, 25 from 25 years. And any moment now, I'm sure the grandstand, once again, as they did on Saturday, will give him a tremendous reception as we keep an eye out for the first glimpse. The sun will be glinting, albeit faintly, on the fairing of the red machine, the yellow helmet. And here he is, Joey Dunlop, with 25 victories! What a performance, and again the crowd on the grandstand rise to him, and he looks so unassuming. He just crosses the line, and he's won by what? A minute and a bit. But 25 victories. I remember when he'd won, I think it was 21, he was presented with a mirror, and I did happen to mention at the time, I hope there's room to add a few more on. Well, there's 4 to be added onto that mirror now, and what a character this man is. Joey Dunlop, OBE, MBE, one for the services to motorcycling and one for the services to the poorer countries like Romania. He used to fill the van up with stuff, drive off by himself and deliver it. But here he is, the man himself, a legend in his own lifetime, Joey Dunlop. Jeff.
Let's listen to this now as he pulls into the area. 25 wins in 25 years. Joey Dunlop. 110 wins for Honda. And the great man pulls in here. And what a win.
McGuinness, I think, slipped off at Governor's Bridge, was it?
Well, I don't know what Davy Woods is saying, but it's a terrific win for the Ballymoney man. And the helmet comes off here now, just to give him a second to digest. You've done it, Joey. 25 it is. It's exceptional, isn't it? How hard was that compared? I'm sure it was a bit easier, wasn't it, than the Formula One?
Cheers. No, that wee bike went brilliant. Hey. It's unbelievable.
Just blew them away.
Oh, it was brilliant. Hey.
So you passed the Vimto Hondas before Glen Helen, and then passed them again after the pits.
I didn't see anything.
Hey? Well, yeah, 110 wins for Honda and 25 wins in 25 years. What a remarkable career, and you're not done yet.
No, yet, no.
Did you enjoy that ride, though? The 250, I think you once said, was your favourite.
Oh, yeah, 250 is brilliant today. It's the best bike I ever rode around here, 250.
And in practice, of course, it gave trouble and you were worried about it, but then it suddenly sorted itself out at Derby.
No, it's perfect today. Perfect, 100%.
No incidents at all?
No, not at all.
What's the weather like and the damp patches? Are there much of them?
No, there one or two, but weren't too bad. New to watch for them.
Okay, that's all you'll get from Joey, but it is 25 victories. Can you, Adam and Eve, it, eh? I remember when we were putting a board up saying 17 not long ago. Right, who else have we got? He's Ian Locker. Don't know who's third. What are we talking here, Peter? I've lost it somehow.
Ian Locker was certainly holding on to third place at Ramsey Hairpin.
So it's McGuinness, is it?
No, McGuinness slid off a quarter bridge. Bruce Anstey,
of course, Anstey, I'm dreaming. Yeah, forgive me. Right, yes, Anstey. This will be the ride, but Ian Locker to third, maybe.
Yes, well, he was 4 seconds ahead of Harris at Ramsey. So
okay, but Harris, of course, number 14. His light is on. So is Anstey. Should be third, Ian.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, how'd you go?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Bit tentative to start with, maybe.
Yeah, just a bit slow. I think I was on the bump bits, early on, and I think I dropped at one point to third to sixth, and then I realised about the pit stop. Some people will probably be stopping after the first lap, so. But no, it was okay. Yeah, happy enough. The bike went out all right anyway, so.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to unravel for Joey, passing the Vimto Hondas and then passing them again because he came in and they went through.
Right. Yeah.
But you're well used to those tactics, so if you grab third here, it's a tight battle with Sean Harris, but it's Bruce Anstey who looks as if he's going to be second. Good ride by him, eh?
Oh, brilliant, yeah. Who won it then?
Joey, who else?
All right. I thought it might have been John.
No, he fell off at the quarter bridge.
All right.
Right, okay then, so here's Anstey now then. It looks like second for him then, Peter, is it?
Yeah, just waiting for confirmation to come up, but we make it he is in second place, but we're just waiting for the final confirmation on the computer screen.
Well, we think it's second, and yeah, looks like it. Fantastic performance there by the New Zealander rider. We've had our eye on him for quite a while. He's stiff though, but not that stiff that he won't lower a couple tonight, I don't doubt. Just get the gloves and hat off then. And what a fabulous performance. And he's Sean Harris, his fellow New Zealander. Have we got confirmation of that? Well, Bruce was first in, so he must win it. But what about with Locker?
Still waiting for that to come up on the screen, Jeff.
So it's Bruce for second. And that is a fantastic performance. Well done.
I didn't realise I was in second place until all these boards came out saying I was in second place. Just a stunt.
You've been knocking on the door for a long time.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Congratulated by Sean Harris. You must be exceptionally pleased with that because Joey won it and it's not really quite like for like, is it?
Jeff confirmed Bruce Anstey second, Ian
Jeff,
Locker
tell us
third.
about the ride then. It was incident free?
Yeah, it's just out there just trying to do my own thing, just keeping it nice and steady and nice and straight. And
no slides on the wet?
No, it's just nice and smooth the whole way.
Did you see all right over the top, the mist?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad at all, yeah.
Chuff with that then.
Definitely.
Okay, and a bit out of breath. And third, Peter?
Yes, Ian Locker confirmed.
Yes, third.
Oh, great stuff. Right.
Okay, just getting it on the headphones here. And fourth for Sean. Well done, good try.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy. Peter Barrett gave me this bike on Wednesday night. I went out on one night on Wednesday on slicks in the wet, and hey, I can't ask for any more. They prepared a beautiful bike. It was awesome racing with Bruce here. At least another Kiwi's on the podium, and that's the main thing. And thanks to all the support from everybody that helped me.
Okay, that's the first four then. and we'll go up to the top paddock now then to get the remainder, Peter.
Fine, thank you very much, Jeff. It looks as if Jason Griffiths has come to take 5th position, just ahead of 6th place man as we have number 2, Richard Quayle Milky in his first TT. I know he said that after he'd won the lightweight Manx, he said, well, if I can do the same speeds in the TT, I should be in the top 10. Well, he's certainly in the moment, unless some later starters come through, and I don't think they will, holding on to a 6th position. That's number 16 finishing his race, and that is Neil Richardson. He retired to the pits last year, but at least now he has finished. It's close racing indeed in the 400s. We have news from Morris, from Motorcycle News Glen Helen, that number 56, Dave Madsen Migdal, is just 3 seconds ahead of number 64, Jeff McMullen, who in turn is 38 seconds ahead of 57, Brett Richmond, who had that problem in the pits. So it's just 3 seconds between number 56 and number 64 at Glen Helen for the victory in the 400 class, and they'll be approaching Ramsey in the not too distant future. Meantime, number 1, Paul Williams, winner of 3 of the 2 400 classes in the last 2 years, changed to the 250, and he has indicated a Cronknamona coming in to complete his 3 laps, 113.19 miles of racing. And we still have today, let me repeat once again, 5:15. And that's number 9 finishing, and that is Richard Britton. So again, we have the 3-lap sidecar race at 5:15, and the lap of honour is scheduled to start at 10 minutes past 7 this evening. So, been a lengthy day, there's no doubt about that, but at least if that programme is slotted in, it means that there will be no racing tomorrow. So 5:15 the sidecars, 7:10 the lap of honour, but the crossings that we read out a little earlier, they will be open between the lightweight and the sidecar, and again between the sidecar and the lap of honour. Let's go up now to Motorcycle News Ramsey.
Well, we're waiting upon the arrival of the leader on the road. We just had number 63 go through there. Now there is number 57 in the 400s. That is Brett Richmond. So we're just looking for. Now, have we seen Dave Madsen Migdal get thus far? He would be under number 56. 57 has arrived thus far. And I'm just looking to Patrick O'Hanlon. I've been shuffling the paperwork about. Here's number 51 coming in toward us, and this is John Barton. But have we indeed seen number 56, Dave Madsen Migdal? And I think the answer to that is no, we have not. I'm looking to Patrick O'Hanlon rather quizzingly, because I had my head down shuffling the papers around on the 250 class, and Patrick is saying no, we have not as yet seen number 56, Dave Madsen Migdal. If that is the case, then McMullen surely is the new race leader of the 400 category. That's one of the 250s going through there. David Hedison, number 28. We've had 63, 57 and 51 having gone through thus far. And this is number 64. This is Jeff McMullen. And surely this then is the new leader. He was just, some 3 seconds down at Glen Helen on David Madsen Migdal. And let's just hope and pray that the two of us haven't missed David Madsen Migdal, because that really would be a major disaster. But certainly I'm looking toward Patrick, and he's saying no, number 56, the double M, did not come through thus far, meaning that the leader then is number 64, Jeff McMullen. Jeff McMullen, the Irish Clubman Short Circuit 400 champion of last year, and equal third in the 400 race here last year. Looks as if he's going to top the podium step. He's going to go onto the gold medal step. He's 18 seconds up on number 57, and that is Brett Richmond from Hamilton on the North Island of New Zealand. Although, having said that, I think Brett has been living in this country for the past couple of years. He's riding the ex-Ian Simpson machine, the machine that Nigel Pearcey took to runners-up place in this race last year. So it looks as if it's going to go to a second place for the second time, that Honda of Brett Richmond, number 57. This is number 65 coming our way, and this is Brian Gardner. Now he's on the leaderboard there, number 65. Brian Gardner gets shuffled in. But the real big drama is that number 56, David Madsen Migdal, we did not see arrive at the Ramsey hairpin. Number 65 is indeed through. The boy who finished second in the senior newcomers Max Grand Prix way back in 1992, running now the Mark Johns Motors 400 Kawasaki. Well, still they come on their way up toward us, and Gardner is 38 seconds down in that third position, as that is John Vincent. John, who was third in the 400 class back back in 95 and only 8th in the 400 class last year. He'll get in on the lower echelons of the leaderboard. In fact, he gets shuffled in 4th place. John Vincent from Ormskirk gets pushed into 4th position. So we've got McMullen, number 64, 18 seconds up on number 57, Richmond, who is 38 seconds ahead of number 65, Brian Gardner. And behind Brian Gardner, 18 seconds back, it is then number 66, Vincent. He is 21 seconds ahead of rider number 51, John Barton. Rider number 51, John Barton, running in 5th position. This then is number 58, Sandra Barnett. Sandra on the Paxford Garage VFR 400. Didn't race last year. She was out doing the ladies' National Enduro Championship on the dirt. Last did road racing in 1998 and last raced in the TT in 1997. Sandra Barnett had a good 32nd place on Saturday's Formula 1 event. Well, can we shuffle anything in after the top 5? We can't. We've got McMullen, number 64, looking for his first ever TT victory, a 3rd place in the 400, equal 3rd in the 400 class last year. McMullen out of County Down, and I think it was Jeff who joined us on the commentary team at the Northwest 200 just a few weeks ago. Well, as well as he can talk, he can ride even better, and McMullen, it looks like it is going to be to get the victory ahead of number 57, Brett Richmond, but no news whatsoever of number 56, David Madsen Migdal, and whilst I raised the question mark, I most certainly didn't see him come through, but I can be excused because I was shuffling away the paperwork here, getting the notes on the 250, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So I don't know what yours is, Mr. O'Hanlon. This could well be your last time in the commentary box here as the P45 comes floating your way. And that's up. Oh, he's out at Parliament Square. So there you are. You've got a job for another year, Patrick. You won't get a jacket. You won't get a nice TT radio jacket, but you've got a job at least. So, well, Dave Madsen-Migdal, what a disappointment. The boy that moved over here a number of years ago comes from God's country, actually. Comes from Oxfordshire, rural Oxfordshire, where they say it ain't flowers that feed you, it's taters that feed you. And he moved across and actually married the landlady's daughter when he first came racing on the island back in 1985. Well, David Madsen-Migdal, his first ever attempt with the 400s. He looked like he was going to be battling in, he was going to be on the podium, but sadly it's all come to nothing down there at Parliament Square. Bad luck to David, but it's going to be victory though for Mr. McMullen, and he will be delighted with that. Jeff McMullen, he enjoying 18 seconds, and surely on the 13 miles left is not going to be caught by number 57. The 31-year-old Brett Richmond from Hamilton on that very attractive North Island of New Zealand. That is number 62 going through there. That is Jonas Svensson. Is that you, Sven? Yeah, you, Sven. Yeah, Svensson's gone through on the John Shand 400 Honda, but he will not be in on the leaderboard at the moment. So we reckon a question mark in 6th position, posing the question mark, Sandra Barnett. Sandra Barnett may well be in there in 6th position of those riders that have come through, albeit 1 minute and 44 seconds down on the 5th place rider, number 51, John Barton. So that's it then for the final time here at Ramsey Hairpin in this combined 250 and 400 race. 64 McMullen heading now for victory, his first TT victory, so I think we can fly ahead in readiness for the checkered flag. So it's away to the Motorcycle News grandstand.
Yes, we've just been advised that the crossing points are open as the car passes until 4:55 p.m. But later in sections of the course, the crossings will be available for a little time past 4:55. At the top of Bray Hill, 4:55, the crossings are open. But remember, they are under control of the police for opening, and they will be open until 4:55, a little bit later as you go around the course. But they are strictly controlled, but it does give access. And now for a resume of the 250 class at least, Mavis.
Le vainqueur, le numéro 3, Joey Dunlop, pour la 25e fois, en 58 minutes 32 secondes, avec une vitesse moyenne de 187 km par heure. En deuxième, le numéro 15, Bruce Anstey, et en troisième, le numéro 5, Ian Locker. Peter.
Dankeschön, Mavis. Es ist fast nicht zu glauben. Sieg Nummer 25 in 25 Jahren Rennen auf der Isle of Man für Start Nummer 3, Joey Dunlop. Und das sehr souverän. Am Ende hatte er 1 Minute 7,2 Sekunden Vorsprung vor dem, man muss wohl sagen, Überraschungszweiten, Start Nummer 15, Bruce Anstey. Dritter wurde Start Nummer 5, Ian Locker, 9,1 Sekunden hinter Anstey. Und gleich gibt es mehr, aber erstmal wieder zurück zu Peter Neal, bitte.
Right, the light is on for number 57. Brett Richmond, he is indicated as through Cronknamona. Just doing a quick calculation, there was 1 minute and 10 seconds between him and number 64. They're the two that are battling for the lead. Jeff McMullen with the advantage of 18 seconds at Ramsey Hairpin. Unlikely, I would think, that he would lose that 18 seconds over the mountain. Number 63 is indicated at Cronknamona, as is 51. We're waiting for the light to come on for number 64. In fact, number 63, correction, he's on his second lap, so he's obviously just touring in with problems. 64, the light is on now. That's number 57 finished. And we have the time to wait now, but it looks certain that number 64, Jeff McMullen, is likely to be the man who is going to take this victory. A man from Northern Ireland. I suppose when he came over here, he never thought for 1 minute he would be in a position to win a TT race. But of course, it's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say, and until he sees the checkered flag, we have to wait for confirmation. That's number 51, Johnny Barton. Not up at the front as we would have expected, but at least he has the consolation this year of finishing in the 400. But of course, his big chance should come on, let's see now, Wednesday morning, that's correct, for the singles. That's number 63 just finishing, albeit a lap down. Right, let's go down to Jeff for the 400 class.
Yeah, it's a bit packed in here still, of course, with the top three in the 250, but it's second place for Brett Richmond after a good ride in the 400 category. And the John Shan machine runs like the proverbial watch, but it doesn't carry him to victory, but it does a very, very good runner-up position, for which I'm sure you'll be grateful.
Oh, it's great to be on the podium. The bike was running pretty bad on the last, well, after the first half a lap it was firing on 3 cylinders, but after mucking up my pit stop I really pulled the pin on the last lap and I hopefully did a good time.
Okay, well I haven't got that for you yet, we'll get that soon, but it was a hard-fought race. Did you see anything of the 250s?
Past one 250 that I know of, I don't know about any others.
All right, well I think this is the winner coming in now. Yes it is, it's Jeff McMullen. Will get it right this time, and he wins the race on a Yamaha. So 110 is the figure for the Honda team, and it's a Yamaha victory for co-commentator Jeff McMullen, masquerading occasionally as Richard Britton, but not in this class. What a fabulous ride. And make no mistake about it, they're well stretched by 3 laps round there. Let him have a drink first. Something just, it's not an illegal substance being put in there, but I'm in the same position myself, and you're now able to give us a big smile properly.
Cheers, Jeff. Aye, very good.
Come on and tell us all about it. This is your moment.
The first 2 laps was very slippy in places, and I just took it easy, took it real steady the first couple of laps, made sure where the slippy patches was, and I thought, right, I'm going for this in the last one.
You were in a good battle with Dave Madsen-Migdal for a while, though.
I seen Dave turn down into Ramsey.
Stopped at Parliament Square, did he, or somewhere?
I just before schoolhouse, and I've been garaged beside Dave all week, and he's worked really hard. I'm really disappointed for him, and like to see him getting it.
Well, his bad luck is your good luck, and we won't know who would have won it if you'd have both kept going, but it's a great moment for you, isn't it?
That certainly is. Dream come true.
Okay, and this is a bit of a gamekeeper-poacher relationship here, because you might have been talking to other winners. I'm sure you have been over many years, and it's a nice thing that you win it yourself.
Brilliant. It's a lifetime's ambition, Jeff, and just glad now that I've got it.
I think we had to mention Derek Young somewhere along the way, didn't we?
That was for Richard's bike.
Okay, well, I was just asked because he was dropped off the list of the credits before.
Yeah, well, I'd just like to say a big thanks to... there's been a lot of people who's helped me this year, just ordinary people, and they all know who they are, and I'd like to thank them, give them a big thanks. Also, Alan Gregg of the Schimmel team, he gave me a 600, and that meant I got extra practice, and that's how I could do it today. So.
Okay, the cheese and ham pizza on the cylinder head is cooked to perfection, is it?
As long as there's a vodka on it later on, I'll not worry about the pizza, Jeff.
We'll find you one, I'm sure. I owe you one for what I did to you before, but you've more than made up for it, and in third position now, it's Brian Gardner. Pardon?
Call by for a drink.
Okay, what did he say?
I said, don't forget and call by for a drink.
Okay, I'll do that. And 65, Brian Gardner, a good third place and in the rostrum, and in the same area as Joey Dunlop anyway.
Thanks a million, Jeff. Can I just thank Alan McDonald of Scott Speed Motorcycles and all the team, Samuel and my dad and John and Gardner and Sammy. They worked 14, 15 hour days to get this bike going for this race. Really appreciate it.
Okay, well, the Kawasaki has given you a good ride, then was it handling well?
Jesse, the handling was superb, but we got the gearing wrong. There's a new gearbox in the engine, so I was sticking my knees out and my head out and my body out to try to keep the revs down. We're doing 16,000 past the Highlander.
So well under geared then.
Miles out, miles out.
Okay, but she didn't seize.
Tony Scott done his business.
All right, now you've got other rides as well on the at the senior, haven't you?
We're in the senior on Friday on Mark John's RC45.
You went all right in the Formula 1 too.
She's a nice motorbike.
Okay, well, the Quacker takes you to third. Well done.
Cheers, Jeff. Thanks a million.
Okay, that's the top three in the 400, Peter. And I think we're nearly ready for the rostrum presentation for the 250.
Yes, not too far away, I don't think. So let's give the times out for the 400 class. The winner, number 64, Jeff McMullen, had a final lap of 21 minutes 46.7, 103.94. 1 hour, 4 minutes, 55.8, 104.59. Second, number 57, that's Brett Richmond. A final lap of 22 minutes, 8.1, 102.27. 1 hour, 5 minutes, 12.9, 104.13. The difference, 17.1 seconds. In third place, number 65, Brian Gardner. Final lap, 22 minutes, 4.9, 102.51. Race time, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 49.7, 103.16. In fourth place at the moment, we have number 66, and that is John Vincent. 21 minutes 47.3, 103.89, a race time of 1 hour 6 minutes 18.9, 102.41. And I don't think we give the times for the 250 class. Joey, the winner, a final lap of 19 minutes 32.8, 115.81, race time 58 minutes 32.2, 116.01. Second, number 15, Bruce Anstey, a final lap of 20 minutes 8.6, 112.38. Race time 59 minutes 39.4, 113.84. Joey's winning margin 1 minute 7.2 seconds. Third place, number 5, Ian Locker, 19 minutes 55.5, 113.61. Race time 59 minutes 48.5, 113.55. Just 9.1 seconds down on Bruce Anstey. In fourth place, number 14, Sean Harris, a final lap of 20 minutes 14.5, 111.83. Race time 1 hour and 0.8 of a second, 113.16. Fifth, number 10, Jason Griffiths, 14.8, 111.81. Race time 1 hour and 12 seconds, 112.81. And completing the top six, number 2, Richard Quayle, a final lap of 20 minutes 26.3, 110.76. A race time of 1 hour and 15.1 seconds, 112.71, just 3.1 seconds down on the fifth place man. Then in just going in numbers, and we had number 7, Dennis McCulloch in 7th place. In 8th place, number 16, Neil Richardson. 9th, number 6, Gary Dines. In 10th place, number 23, Alan Bud Jackson. In 11th place, number 12, Simon Smith. 12th was number 27, and that is Matt Jackson. 13th, number 22, and that's Mark Tyrrell. In 14th place, number 21, Paul Owen. And 15th, number 24, and that is Hugh Reynolds. And I think very shortly we are ready. In fact, let's greet the first three in the 250 class with the fanfare. Win 25 for Joey Dunlop. The runner-up all the way from New Zealand, Bruce Anstey. And a third place, Ian Locker. And the garlanding ceremony for the lightweight race being carried out by Mr. Ted Bartlett, who is the chairman of the Autocycle Union. Going first to the third place man, the green sash and hat, Bruce Anstey. Must be feeling very, very happy there with that second place. And yet another red hat for Joey Dunlop. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the third finisher, Ian Locker. The runner-up, Bruce Anstey. And the winner for the 25th time, Joey Dunlop. And let's see how Joey handled the champagne this time. A lot easier, I think. Who's going to be first? Very casual. Joey is going to win. He's just smiling there. He's sandbagging Joey Dunlop there, even with a bottle of champagne, to see who's going to be first. Ian is ready. Joey is ready. It's going to be triple, I think. There's a wee bit of a problem. Oh, it's away. Joey Dunlop. What a character. What a man. And Bruce Anstey decides to get his own back on Joey and absolutely drowns him. So there it is. That's the garlanding ceremony for the lightweight 250. Joey's average speed 116.01 miles per hour. And we're almost ready, I now think, for the 400. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for third place man Ian Locker. From New Zealand, Bruce Anstey, the runner-up. And your man himself, Joey Dunlop. Another very, very popular victory there for him. 25 victories, and they're leaving the stage now. And, well, that's a quarter of a century of wins, 25 for Joey. Who would have thought that when we got here? And a thought, in 1985, Joey had a hat-trick. In 1988, Joey had a hat-trick of wins. He still got the 125, he still got the junior 600, and he still got the senior. Could 2000 be another hat-trick year for the man from Ballymoney? Just a little thought to savour before we come to Wednesday's races. But of course, we've still got a race this afternoon, the sidecar, due to start at 5:15. But before that, we're almost ready, I think now. We find the first, second and third for the garlanding ceremony. I think they're just about getting organised. Yes, I think the three riders are there, so let's get underway. I think we're ready. Wait for the signal. I'll tell you what, they're there chatting. The presenter is there, the riders are there, so let's get them moving with the fanfare. The winner of the 400 is first TT victory for Jeff McMullen. Runner-up, Brett Richmond. And the third finisher, Brian Gardner. And the garlanding ceremony being carried out now by Mr. Jack Wood, who for many years was the clerk of the course for the TT races, now a consultant to the race management team. Firstly to the third finisher, Brian Gardner, the green and the green hat. Never mind the yellow one, that's it. Put the green one on, that's the one. There's only one of them ever made for third place in that race. And you've got it now. Brett Richmond gets the sash and the blue. I thought that was fireworks for a minute, something fired up there. And now the winner, Brian Gardner. Man, I have never met Brian, but I would like to sometime during this week. He sounds a really great character. He gets the red hat. That's the first of his, and maybe the first of many for him, for Jeff McMullen, the winner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the national anthem. So that's the first three in the lightweight 400. Let's hear it once again, ladies and gentlemen. The third finisher, Brian Gardner, as he gets the champagne. Brett Richmond and Jeff McMullen. And who's going to be the winner here? Just looking at the awards, the 250, the Manufacturers Award, has been won by Honda. That's with Joey Dunlop, Ian Locker and Sean Harris. The club team has been won by the Southern 100 Motorcycle Racing, Richard Quayle, Ian Locker and Barry Wood. And there was no winner of the International Club Team Award in the 400s. And they're having a real battle down there with that champagne. Absolutely soaked. I see the man there with the New Zealand flag. And that's the garlanding ceremony for the 400s. In the 400s, the Manufacturers Award was won by Yamaha. That was Jeff McMullen, Johnny Barton, and is that Johnny Barton? And Dennis Gallagher. So they were the three that won that. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, as the boys leave the rostrum, let's hear it for the first, second and third in the lightweight 400. And I think now for a roundup of the story so far.
Keep up to date with Manx Radio's dedicated motorsport website, motorsport.manxradio.com, your one-stop shop for news, travel, road closures and racing schedules. You can also step into Manx Radio 1368's 60-year motorsport archive, including interviews with your favourite riders, race highlights from yesteryear, and our collection of motorsport videos and podcasts. Motorsport.manxradio.com, the home for motorsport on the Isle of Man, from the best biking station in the world, Manx Radio 1368.